Hola, hola, señoritas. Hola, amigos. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Why do I suddenly got Spanish people in my chat? I'm joking. How is everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, Mickey. And Runic as well. Otra vez tan temprano. I have no clue what that means. I have no clue what that means, Runic. That's my territory. Cultural appropriation. What up, Stars? Yeah, he's the only one. Actually, well, I don't know how good Mickey her Spanish is, but yeah. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing today, guys? We're back. We're back on this Tuesday. On this Tuesday, they said again so early. Oh, that makes sense. Actually, he's always early. Runic is always early, so that makes sense. Now, guys, today we are gonna do some gaming, but before that, a YouTube video actually sparked my interest. I saw it and I was like, I don't know, I want to watch it on stream, I guess. It is called a video uploaded by a channel named Chilling Scares. It's actually a pretty good channel. They all upload all kinds of like horror or dark stuff related. And the video is titled, what was it called? YouTubers that turned to murders or something. So we're gonna watch that, and after that we'll hop into some gaming today. We're getting close to finishing Tomb Raider, but and also God of War, by the way. I'm a lurk. No worries. Thank you. Appreciate the lurk stars. Appreciate the lurk stars. But how is everybody doing? How is everybody doing today? I'm quickly gonna check if everything is well set up. So everything is working, up and running. What up, Filios? My bruder. Wie geht's? Wie geht's? How was the horror stream? I wasn't able to catch it, unfortunately, Filios. What did you play, actually? What did you play, Filios? I'm actually curious as to what horror games you play. All right, ladies and gents, so we're gonna be starting off with a YouTube video, and we'll be watching some game. We're gonna be doing some gaming as usual. Starting off the stream with Pico. Appreciate it, Runic. Appreciate it, brother. All right. Okay. So this video is titled YouTuber that became murderers. I don't know. By the way, I highly, if you are into like those I don't know, like those, oh wait, hold on. Y'all can't even see it. Those obscure, like dark-ish channels with like I don't know, those good like horror stories, disturbing stories that actually happened. I highly recommend subscribing to the channel, Chilling Scares. So yeah, we're gonna be watching this YouTubers that became murderers. I don't know, it just popped up. Sometimes things like pop up in my feed, and I'm like, oh, I want to watch it on stream, and I'll add it to my watch later list. I have a couple of them, but we're not gonna go through all of them right now. I'm okay, Hope. Hope you are too. Oh, that doesn't sound too good, to be honest, Filios. Is there something up, maybe, that you wanna share? Don't feel Wait, hold on. Resident Evil 7, but didn't get very far. So I finished the stream. Wait, you didn't get very far as in you were like, was it so super scary? I know that game is scary, by the way, so I don't blame you. But was it like that scary? All right, black screen. I believe y'all can see it right now, right? And the audio should be good as well. Oops.
Vinny Bad 118 was a YouTube.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna be watching this, and then we'll be hopping into some Tomb Raider to finish it up. But yeah, I don't blame you, Filios, if Resident Evil was, or was it maybe like hard? Because I know the Resident Evil games are pretty known with some puzzles and stuff. So yeah, I definitely don't blame you. What up, Tylus? How you doing, bro? How you doing, Tylus? We're gonna be watching a YouTube video that really like caught my interest first, and then we'll hop into some Tomb Raider and maybe some God of War afterwards, depending on the time. I need to wake up early tomorrow. I need to wake up, or I actually need to wake up at 7. So that's gonna be rough. That is gonna be rough, very rough. Okay, so let's start the video.
YouTube channel owned and operated by Vincent Bataloro.
Let me know if y'all can. I believe y'all should be able to hear it
from New Jersey.
good.
He'd been active on YouTube since 2021 and mainly streamed himself playing sports games like
Okay,
MLB The
MLB.
Show. On September 30, 2025, he went live with another one of these streams. And for someone stumbling onto this live broadcast, nothing about it felt odd. That is, until they started watching and noticed his chat asking him odd questions like,
What?
Are you going to jail? And how are you going to get paid in jail? Things became even more
Jail?
strange when some of his viewers started calling him a killer over and over again.
What?
However,
I was good. How are you doing? I'm doing good as well. Had a pretty chill day. Oh, by the way, Runic, I think you'll like this one. I got 2 new figurines for the room, so I'm gonna put them in the background real quick. But look at this, guys. Woo-wee! Look at this. This one looks pretty sick, right? It's Hornet! Hornet! From freaking Silk Song. That one is pretty cool. Look at this. And that's not the only one, though. That is not the only one. Hey! We got Hollow Knight as well. Or I think that's his name. Bro, I can't even call myself a big fan. But these games, I was like, man, I saw these figurines and I was like, these games has changed so many for me. They really open up a whole lot for me in terms of like, what is it called? Like indie gaming and stuff. I had to get them. I was jump scare one time, but I didn't know where to go. Besides, no one was watching anyway. Ah, dang. Do you got a clip of the jump scare? Okay, hold on. Right? I think that looks good. Hold on. They are kind of like not those two like pure. But it looks goddamn sick though. I can't lie, guys. It looks goddamn sick. I want to add maybe some lights to the shelf, so that the figurines are a bit more like you can see them a bit better. It's now pretty dark, like in the background. I want to add some more lights, maybe some light strips or whatever. So yeah. Peak figure, thank you. So you were scared, but you didn't know where to go. Do you got a clip of the jump scare, Philios? Are you gonna play Black Myth Wukong? I actually played that game before I started streaming. I mean, I could do a second run, but yeah. I mean, I could do that. I do own the game on PC. And also, I got good news, guys. I got absolutely freaking good news. So I mentioned it a couple of streams ago. I ordered a cheap as capture card, right? I was like, let me just try out to see if one of those cheap capture cards work, and I can actually stream my console games. Well, wait, hold on. Where do I have it? Hold on. Guys, I got one of these. So this is literally I don't even know how it was. I think it was like 20 bucks or something, or 15 maybe. It is a capture card and it literally works. It freaking works, guys. I can now record like my console games and my Switch games even. It's 1080p on 60 FPS, but to be fair, Twitch I think only supports up to 1080p, or that's what most people stream their gameplay to. So that's pretty dang sick. So now I can literally just freaking stream like Switch games. I don't know, like PS5 games. We can do like PS5 exclusives. Maybe we can do a Ghost of Yotai playthrough. And maybe some other good ones. I want one too, Philos. You can So I ordered this from what is it called? Like Temu. But you can also order them from Amazon or AliExpress. They're really cheap. You should just look up HDTV video capture. It's really easy. You can just set it up with OBS. So yeah, guys, that's exciting. I have no words except crazy, absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful, right? Look at them in the back. I'm trying to kind of like expand my my figurine collection, my anime figurine, manga figurine collection, and also my manga collection itself. Like I got some cool Yu-Gi-Oh mangas that I bought. So pretty cool stuff. I shall clip this moment and cherish it forever. Hell yeah. I have a little bit of a downer time because of stress regarding the divorce and bad conscience because of not being as productive. Ah, dang. Oh, that sucks. That sucks, bro. Um, that sucks. Yeah, stress is and also like divorce in general, right? Is not always a good thing. You mean the divorce like from a couple of months ago, right? I will not buy Black Myth Wukong not because it's difficult, because the game is just bad optimized. You know, wait, what? You think Black Myth Wukong is bad optimized? No way, Tylos. That game is actually one of the few games that has been released and was actually running pretty stable, I would say. Okay, I'm yapping a lot. We're gonna be watching the video, but obviously, if you guys want to, or if you guys got any questions and stuff, I can just pause the video. So yeah, YouTubers that became murderers. Let's see.
This label wasn't an exaggeration. As it turned out, Vincent was hosting this stream less than a day after allegedly ending the lives of 2 teenage girls in a neighboring town.
Oh,
and
shoot.
he didn't seem the least bit remorseful. The incident happened on September 29th, just before 5:30 p.m. 17-year-old Maria Neotis and Isabella Salas were riding e-bikes in a residential neighborhood in Cranford, New Jersey, when they were suddenly hit by a speeding car seemingly out of nowhere. The crash was loud enough to get the attention of nearby residents. People rushed to help. Unfortunately, it was already too late.
Describe what those calls to police sounded like moments after Maria Neotis and Isabella Salas were mowed down by a black SUV driven by another teenager.
There's a girl on the road and there's a car. Oh my God, please hurry.
So there's 2 females?
Also, I forgot to mention, but just a quick little heads up. If you cannot, like, you know, take those like disturbing messages or videos, maybe it's maybe a good time to look away for a bit. Because these videos can get pretty extreme.
By the time first responders arrived at the scene, both
for
girls
those
had
like
already passed
maybe sensitive
away. But what made the incident even more disturbing was just how shockingly violent it was. Later investigation revealed the car was going close to 70 miles per hour, or over 110 kilometers an hour, in a neighborhood with a speed limit of just
110 kilometers. Wow.
5 miles per hour, or roughly 40 kilometers per hour. The resulting collision sent the girls flying across the street, with one victim coming to rest approximately 100 feet from the impact site. According to eyewitness reports, the driver tried to drive away immediately after the incident, but the crash was so violent that the impact had lodged one of the e-bikes into the car, forcing the driver to ditch it and flee on foot. Fortunately,
and
this
fleeing like a bitch, bro. Like, come on. You already committed the worst crime ever possible.
To run the license plate and trace the car back to its driver, 17-year-old Vincent Badaloro. Vincent was called in for questioning. It's unclear what exactly he told the police, but since the investigators didn't have any solid evidence of his personal involvement, he was let go the same night. The investigators were also treating this as an accident by this point, so they had no ground to detain Vincent just yet. However, this changed completely
Lock him up.
when one of the victims' families learned about Vincent's potential involvement. According to Maria's family, Vincent had been stalking and harassing her for months by that point. They went to the same school, and Vincent was reported to have tormented her during
Was he like by any
incidents.
coincidence like her ex-boyfriend? You know, you always get like these stories, right? A girl breaks up with a guy, he's getting jealous or something. He can't take it, so he takes their life or anything. It's just, bro, we're living in a crazy world. Can I just say that? But I'm gonna get divorce is next month, but I'm gonna get through it. Then it is getting better, and my girlfriend is a massive support through this. Yeah, I'm glad you found at least a person again to you know, to that cares about you. So that is a big W, Philios. I thought the divorce was already been done, but okay, it's next month. So yeah. Yeah, because it's Unreal Engine 5. I just don't like that engine, bro. It gives the game bad performance. I've never had problems with when I played Black Myth Wukong. Also, I didn't play it on ultra settings, so that could be why.
The two had never gotten along. Vincent would also allegedly follow Maria around anytime she went outside, and neighbors even saw him staking out her house in his car on multiple occasions. This behavior only worsened after Maria reported him to the school authorities about a month before the incident, with him becoming even more aggressive and making false police reports, even leading to her family getting swatted multiple times.
Oh my God.
In one of his streams, he mentioned...
the idea of swatting is so crazy to me. I don't think we have that over here in the Netherlands. I could be wrong. But I've never heard like any, I don't know, like Dutch streamers getting swatted. It's such a like an weird concept that, you know, is like in theory, it's a good concept. I would say it's a good thing, but with the internet, it's just getting abused. I feel like it's getting abused and used for the wrong purposes. For those of you that don't know what swatting is, I think how it works, but I'm not really sure if anyone is from the US that is now watching. You could like correct me if I'm wrong. But the way it works is you basically call like the police or a special team of the police on an address. I don't know how they get the address. I guess maybe the streamer leaks it or something. And yeah, they basically do a home invasion in your house because they got a threat coming from from the call, right? That your house is, you know, considered a threat, or your place, or you as a person even. And they come into your house and they bust down the door or something, and I don't know, they have to search like the whole apartment. And from what I've seen, from what like viewers do to streamers and stuff, it's like most of the time it's like just innocent people playing games or whatever, and people just make like those fake calls. It's wild. Like it's a good thing to, you know, if there's a threat, it's like you know, good that the police can be quick on the scene and you know, like control the situation, I guess. But man, with the amount of trolls that you have online nowadays, I don't think, I don't know, it's hard. And the thing is, they also can't like really, how do you say that? From what I've heard, they can't really like go against it or ignore it, because, you know, even though 9 times out of 10 it could be a fake or a fake call or a fake warning, that one time that is gonna be real could be, you know, fatal or pretty important. So I think they always have to go. But yeah, it's wild. It's pretty wild how that works over
Having
in
a
the US.
vengeance against
There's a lot of things that are pretty wild over in the US, right?
Maria, and even dedicated one of his old phones to harassing her, starting with ordering a pizza to her address.
Here's what we're gonna do. I think Maria's hungry. I think we're gonna send her a pizza. Cheer her up. So.
Oh, so he live streamed this
this
too.
This girl. I'm gonna call a pizza to her house, and here's how I'm gonna do it.
Investigation also revealed that Vincent's own parents had called the police 4 times regarding his increasingly violent and out-of-control behavior over the last few months. He was becoming more erratic, and combined with Maria getting him in trouble at school, was likely harboring deep resentment towards her. Put simply, there was a strong chance that what happened wasn't an accident. He possibly wanted to take his anger out on Maria, and Isabel was just collateral in his messed up plan. Now, while the investigators were piecing all this together, Vincent decided to go live on YouTube and pretend like everything was completely normal. However, people in his community had learned about his possible involvement in the case by this point, resulting in the chat messages we mentioned earlier.
He got a lot of views, I can't lie.
These messages as just hate comments and drama, but eventually decided to address the situation in the vaguest terms possible.
In a neighboring town.
How can you even like defend yourself?
Unfortunately, 2 girls were killed in a hit-and-run crash. Now, there has been a lot of misinformation going on over the internet. It is an absolute unfortunate situation, and there's more to the story that you're not getting. But when the time comes, I will explain it in greater detail.
He was likely speaking this way to avoid an accidental admission of guilt. However, this stream could still help investigators.
The way he brings it is already obvious, or kind of suspicious.
While he was live on YouTube, investigators were gathering evidence to prove that he was behind the wheel. This led to the discovery of ring camera footage from a nearby street, showing him speeding in the neighborhood before the incident and then walking back on foot minutes after everything went down. This, combined with eyewitness testimonies, allowed investigators to arrest him a day later on October 1st and charge him with 2 counts of first-degree murder. His channel has since been terminated by YouTube. Prosecutors are also pushing to have Vincent tried as an adult to secure the full sentence they believe he deserves.
So how many years? It's still going on, I guess.
I'm recording this because...
That's crazy, though. A hit and run is like a cowardly thing to do in itself, but yeah. Alright, I watched a video about RTX 5070 Ti Blackmagic Wukong on Ultra setting 1080 with RT on, and it runs on. Really? You need DLSS 4 quality game gen. Wow, you would think a card like that or a PC like that could handle the game better, but I don't buy games that use Unreal Engine 5. I don't want to hurt my PC, lol. I mean, it's gonna be the future, right? Don't a lot of games use that nowadays? Welcome back, Runic. I nearly fetched up my rice. Oh
I
god,
want my daughter
you
to
gotta go
know
precious with the rice. Careful, careful. If you screw over rice, nah, that's a sin.
that I
That
love
is a
you,
sin.
Mackenzie Pascal.
Okay, so that was the first YouTuber, I guess. I'm heading off to Hogwarts. Of Hogwarts you go. No worries, Mickey. Thank you for the alert and enjoy the Quidditch.
I'm so sorry that I've done this. I want you to know that you mean everything to me.
This was the final video 48-year-old Trent Pascal uploaded to YouTube on October 21st, 2020. His content up until that point was a mix of family vlogs, DIY tips, and RC toy reviews.
Okay.
He came across as a laid-back, middle-aged dad enjoying time with his family, but the video he uploaded in October 2020 was different. It wasn't a wholesome vlog or toy review with his kids. Instead, this was a confession Trent posted to YouTube after committing a heartless crime just so he could paint himself as the victim. The day started off rough with Trent having a massive argument with his wife, Savannah. Details of what exactly caused this argument are unknown, but according to some reports, it had something to do with Trent's overprotective and envious personality. He was reportedly very insecure about the 18-year age gap between him and Savannah. He saw anyone even remotely close to her as a threat and tried to control every aspect of her life,
He's
which
that
also
kind of
led
type,
to many
huh?
clashes between the two over the years. Regardless of the reason, the argument on October 21st ended with Savannah dropping their two kids at school and then driving over to live at their mother Shirley's house in Lamarck, Texas. Neighbors also saw Trent storming out not long after. Savannah and Shirley went out to check on the kids at school later that day before returning home at around noon. Shirley went straight to the master bedroom to freshen up, but nothing could have prepared her for what was waiting for her inside. The moment she stepped into the bathroom, Trent leaped out from behind the shower curtain with a firearm in his hand.
What?
And before she could even register what was going
shot her.
on, Trent announced that he was going to end both her and Savannah and opened fire. Fortunately, he missed the mark, giving Shirley the opportunity to escape to a neighbor's house and call for help.
What the hell?
Sadly,
What is
Savannah
wrong with
wasn't as
people?
lucky. Trent managed to shoot her twice in the stomach before fleeing the scene. She was rushed to the hospital, but passed away shortly after.
Oh, dang it.
While Savannah was fighting for her life, Trent uploaded this video to his now deleted second channel, explaining his reasoning for the heinous crime. He accused Savannah of cheating on him and claimed that she was the one who made him do this. However, to most people who came across this video, it was clear that Trent posted the video so he could portray himself as the victim.
Exactly,
He
he's
seems
trying
try
to
a fake
twist the
crime
freaking
multiple
narrative.
times during the video, but fails to shed a single tear. Many also assumed the cheating accusation was likely false, but even if it wasn't, it was still no justification for taking her life. That said, the most disturbing part of this video was the very end, which showed Trent hearing a noise and immediately rushing to hide in a dark room. Closely listening to this section revealed a plastic rustling noise, similar to what shower curtains sound like when moved. In other words, Trent was possibly recording this final message in Shirley's home moments before they arrived.
Oh,
and then
wow.
quickly ran to the bathroom when he heard the two pull into the driveway. He fled Lamarck immediately after committing the crime, prompting a statewide manhunt. This ended with the police tracking him down to a Walmart parking lot in Houston later the same day. However, Trent drew his firearm on the officers and refused to back down despite repeated warnings. This left
The US is out of control, man. I can't lie. The US is out of freaking control. Overprotective this guy was. He was just a jealous type, a jealous, selfish dude that, didn't want any other human being getting close in front of his wife because he was the one that is insecure. Oh my god, guys. And then he shot her. Why do you, in what world would you ever consider taking someone's life over, well, I guess cheating is bad, right? But dang, taking someone's life over that? I don't know. Maybe
deputies with no choice but to open fire, hitting him several times across the abdomen. He was then taken to a hospital where he spent over a month recovering.
Oh, what? Yeah, bro, it's insane. It's insane. A lot of games use their own engine, and good news is GTA will also use their own engine. So we don't have to worry about performance. I mean, using your own engine could also be a risk because, there could be some bugs, glitches in the engine itself, and they could actually be harder to solve than existing ones in, for example, in like Unreal Engine 5. So it could have its benefits, but also its downsides. Insane levels of insecurity.
from
Yeah,
his
that's what I'm
wounds.
saying.
He was eventually booked into the Galveston County Jail on charges of murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm. Now, this is usually where stories like this end, but that's not what happened with Trent. Despite the deeply violent nature of his crimes, he was allowed to leave on bail after paying $550,000.
hell no.
He was fitted with a GPS ankle monitor and ordered to stay at his mother's house until his conviction. Trent initially complied with these orders, but on April 13th, 2021, he removed his ankle monitor, stole a car at knife point after taking it on a test drive from a dealership, and vanished without a trace. This triggered a massive multi-state...
I'm sorry. That is the most dumbest thing ever. What is up with these freaking, like, I don't know, this freaking police? Why would they think someone, a murderer, literally a murderer, to let go a murderer on bail for like, what, $500?
manhunt. The police spent months looking for Trent, but he was still nowhere to be found. This also left Savannah's family in a constant state of fear, as Trent could show up at any time to cause further harm. The run finally ended nearly 9 months later in January 2022, when the U.S. Marshals received a tip that a man matching Trent's description was staying at a small RV park in Ocala, Florida. Officers rushed to the scene and surrounded a van where they believed he was hiding. But before they could break in and apprehend Trent,
took his own life.
he decided to end everything on his own, robbing Savannah's family of seeing
always
any justice through the legal system.
how they end. The freaking cowards, man.
Lane Maurice...
Bro, have y'all noticed? I don't know if y'all are like up to date with like mass murder, those mass murder situations and whatnot. The killers always take their own lives. I mean, I get it. It's not better to, I guess it's not gonna be better to, be the rest of your life in jail, but it's insane. Because it's more insane because, it would be interesting, like the thought process of what these killers were thinking when they like committed a mass murder crime or whatnot. Just what is going on in their head, why, what like what led to them doing the crime and stuff. Yeah.
Davis joined YouTube
Now you
all the
never
way
know.
back in September 2009 under the name Seattle for Truth. Most of his videos have since been deleted by YouTube for policy violations, but they were mainly about right-wing political commentary and rants about current events. Some of these videos also revolved
Seattle
around
for
Lane
Truth.
trying to prove various conspiracy theories. Lane also did an internship under British far-right commentator Milo Yiannopoulos at one point, though it didn't last very long. So his YouTube channel was the only thing Lane focused on for most of his adult life. But while he did have a sizable following across socials, most of his videos didn't attract enough viewers to provide a sustainable income. This forced Lane to live with his parents and rely on them for monetary needs, which apparently was a major source of tension in their relationship. His parents also had differing political views from their son, leading...
I really don't understand why people are doing this. What am I watching? Yeah, we're watching a crazy video. I do think those videos are always pretty interesting because I don't know, I'm always like interested into, those stories just really catch me. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I can't justify it. I just like I enjoy watching the dark horror stories, disturbing things, but like not in a way that I enjoy the things that they are doing, obviously, because that would be insane. But just, I don't know, it's really interesting to kind of, get to know the whole story, like what like encouraged them, how they got like caught, what was the reason behind it, how it all like unfolded and stuff. But yeah, we're watching YouTubers that became murderers. If you're wondering, Tylus, it's by Chilling Scares, a really good channel if you are into like those type of I guess content. But yeah, if a girl cheat on me, I just break up and move on. Some people are just crazy. That's what normal people will do, Tylus. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of normal people in this world. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of crazy people, as you can see.
leading to frequent arguments.
And if you have laws, or if you give them, the tools or the ability to carry or to own firearms, I mean, even if it's like banned, for example, in our country, the Netherlands, it's banned, you can still get like firearms, right? I think. But
especially with
In the US, where in some states it's just legal to own one.
his father,
Yeah, you're just asking for problems.
Charles. And the back and forth on the night of July 14, 2017 started off as no different. As the argument became more heated, his mother, Catherine, dialed 911 and calmly asked for assistance, stating, "He's not physically threatening us or anything. He just gets out of control and he's ranting about stuff from the internet. He's not working and he just gets on these rampages and he just needs to move on. He just lives on the internet and he gets really worked up about everything that's going on. He needs an intervention of some kind here." The dispatcher instructed Catherine and Charles to keep their distance until the police arrived, but she downplayed the threat, saying she'd seen many similar outbursts in the past and that he wouldn't turn violent. Unfortunately, she couldn't have been more wrong, because just a few minutes later, Catherine dialed 911 again, and this time in a far more frantic state, screaming phrases like, "He stabbed him," and repeating, "He's dead," over and over again. Officers were already on their way from the first call Catherine made and reached the house within minutes. Inside, they found Charles lying on the floor with his clothes covered in blood. According to reports, Lane became even more aggressive after the first 911 call and stabbed his father multiple times with a kitchen knife. By the time police arrived, Charles had already passed away. Lane likely regretted his decision immediately, as officers saw him standing outside the front door with his hands in the air, waiting to be arrested. He later pleaded guilty to second-degree murder as part of a plea deal and was sentenced to 17 years in prison. His YouTube channel now sits completely abandoned.
Crazy. Just the reason why
in these
is
cases,
so
the transition from
insane
content
to think about. It's insane. What do y'all think? What do y'all think someone that, takes someone's life, whether it's on purpose or not, what do y'all think is a justifiable, what is a fitting, sentence? Do y'all think? Imagine if those people had superpower, just like in the Boys TV show. My God, that will turn the whole world into chaos. The whole world is already in chaos. I'm not gonna lie. The world is kind of cooked. I feel like we're living in a world right now that is not going necessarily in the right direction. The whole stuff with AI, we got freaking wars going on between countries. It is. I don't want to get too, I like to keep it all gaming over here, but sometimes I think it's important, to talk about it a bit. But yeah, how do serial killers think? One of my favorites I video. Runic, those videos are so goddamn interesting. Or, those top 10 freaking disturbing encounters on Ring doorbells and whatnot. Or, the blah, 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 X incident. Bro, they're just I could watch those videos for hours and hours. I get so invested in them. It's insane. The boys' world is way worse. Yeah, I mean, obviously they got powers, right? And stuff with Homelander. But yeah, feel the pain that they made the victim feel.
Creator to
I think so too. It can be a bit harsh, but I think. Okay, this may sound. I don't even know if I can say that, but in my opinion, a life for a life, right? That's how I think about it. But
criminal is marked by a clear, calculated decision.
Maybe I'm a bit too
Jessica
harsh
Worsham,
on those things. Maybe I'm a bit too harsh.
but known online as the Indigo Mystic on YouTube, the path was much more blurred, with her channel serving as a digital diary for a woman who was visibly losing her grip on reality. Jessica started her channel in
No way, she is a
2013 to
murderer.
post occasional videos on whatever topics grabbed her interest that day. Her content was relatively harmless, with nothing too attention-grabbing,
Aw, carving
at
pumpkins
least at
for
first.
Halloween.
As her personal life began to fracture, the tone shifted dramatically. It started with her getting divorced from her husband. It's unclear what the reason for this divorce was, possibly something to do with her deteriorating mental state. Regardless of the reason though, it left her in charge of her 2 daughters. However, she didn't have any place to stay at the time. So one of her
Please, for the love of God, don't let the 2 children be involved in this. I swear. I'm gonna be sick to my stomach if that is gonna be the case.
friends allowed her to stay at one of their properties for free until they found a buyer for it. They were likely expecting to sell the home in a few months, but the process ended up taking 3 long.
Okay, can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing? Why does this house in particular, why does this just screams American? This just screams like an American house. I don't know what it is. I've seen it in a, you've seen it in movies and stuff, right? This just looks like a typical American house or something. I don't know what it is, The one that you see in like a movie, right? Just those freaking, I don't know, those planks all over this. Maybe it's just me. I just noticed it. She looks so sweet. Why did she have to become a murderer? That's what I'm saying. The flag, yeah, but I mean, aside from the flag, this just, I don't know what it is. It just screams American.
Years. And when it was finally time to hand over the keys, Jessica intervened. Instead of being grateful for being able to stay there for 3 years for free, she refused to leave and even took her friend to court over it. She understandably lost in court and was forced to move out. This upended the life she'd built over the last 3 years and marked the beginning of her downfall. The stress of losing...
That is pretty ungrateful, I'm gonna be honest. You were able to stay there for 3 years for free? For free, for nothing? And that's how you freaking react.
Her home,
That's
combined
crazy.
with her pre-existing mental conditions, proved disastrous. She refused to accept the reality and became delusional, thinking that the judges were part of some evil group alongside her family members and were out to get her and her daughters.
So the first person I would like to mention is Alan Berriman. He is my uncle, and he has been working with my other family members, a one Angie Griffith. She lives in Danielsville. And also a Denise Cantrell, who is my maternal parent. And my sister, Crystal Christian, okay? They've all been working in league with a judge, a magistrate judge that works at the Jackson County Courthouse named Benjamin Green. He's been doing under-the-table type things that he's not supposed to be doing, and Alan Berriman and those mentioned...
What a snake!
...afterwards have been in league with this particular judge individual, and to steal my home from me.
Jessica began posting videos ranting about these made-up conspiracies, like how the government was trying to depopulate the world with the COVID vaccines. She was clearly losing her grip on reality, even posting videos directly addressing the judge she believed had wronged her in the past.
Anyway, this message is for Benjamin Green. I know you're watching me, and I know you're scared. And you should be. Dingledorf, he's too scared. He's too scared to even try to communicate with me telepathically, but you're scared, aren't you, Benji? Ben. Good old Benji. You used to be a good person, didn't you, Benji? You did. You used to actually have the desire for justice. And the desire to do good by people. What happened?
Bro,
what happened?
This is not it. She is
Did you let the greed of the world get to you?
going psycho mode.
Did you let that secret society that you're a part of talk you into all this stuff?
However, this was only the beginning. The situation truly began to unravel when her
I'm getting Anakin
ex-husband
Skywalker flashbacks. He's also... That was so random. But I remember that. I know what scene you're talking about. The one where he just murders all these kids. Wow.
Custody of their 2 daughters.
Hey, welcome back, Phileas. Welcome back, welcome back. I don't know if you heard it, but what I said, but I thought the divorce was already settled, but so next month it's gonna be settled, and then you're like once and for all done with it, right?
In mid-2021, Jessica didn't have a solid roof over her head and wasn't sending the 2 girls to school either. Her behavior online was also becoming more and more erratic with each passing day. In addition to her rambling about topics that made little sense, she also posted videos waving around the firearm she had, threatening anyone who wanted to get in her way. Put simply, she was becoming dangerous to her own children.
Who's that?
Her ex-husband filed for temporary custody until Jessica found proper residence and got professional help for her degrading mental state. But in her delusions, Jessica saw this as yet another attack on her from the same group that took away her home.
Oh no.
Today is a rather unfortunate day, to be honest with you. I'm actually going to court today against some people that are trying to take my children from me. The same people that took my home from me. the Jackson County court system.
She still could have had a chance to stay with her daughters, but on the day of the hearing, she refused to enter the courthouse, further highlighting her unstable mental state to the judge. The custody was awarded to her ex-husband until Jessica was deemed capable of resuming responsibility. This was a chance for her to actually work on improving her situation, but Jessica didn't see it that way. Sadly, she was already too far gone and decided to go on the run with her daughters instead. She stayed on the move for the next couple of months, moving from place to place, all while posting increasingly unhinged monologues on YouTube.
Please don't tell me she freaking took the lives of her as well. Yeah, but I will still have contact with her because of the kids, but not as much. I see, I see. Well, hopefully it all just goes smoothly for you, Philios. It's it seems like you've been through a rough time, and unfortunate to hear that, man. I hate to hear that. But yeah, hopefully everything will get better, and you get the support that you need.
YouTube.
Mine. M-I-N-E,
Am I watching this on 2 times the speed? No. Why?
They're
The
my
video
babies.
is maybe just like sped up.
And I love them above anything else. I love them like I love God.
Oh
And I'll do
no.
anything, including lay my life down for them.
No.
And I know
Guys. She's gonna take the lives of her kids as well.
that's what you wish
Think.
for.
Jessica also
Please
felt the
don't.
need to record and post to YouTube almost everything that happened in her life. She'd gone as far as to instruct her daughters to start recording whenever anything notable happened. What she
hell?
didn't know was that one of these recordings would end up scarring them for life. The incident happened on November 5th, 2021, with Jessica getting into an argument with the owners of the house she was living in. The dispute escalated to the point where the owners asked her to leave the house, and when she refused, they contacted the police to have her removed. However, as soon as the officers pulled into the driveway, Jessica opened the front door with her firearm in her hand and opened fire. One of the shots hit 43-year-old Sheriff's Deputy Lena Marshall, sending her to the hospital where she tragically passed away just a few days later. The other officers opened fire in retaliation, hitting Jessica multiple times, all while her daughters heard and recorded everything inside the house.
That's
Jessica
crazy.
passed away on the spot, with her younger daughter posting the final video on YouTube with the heartbreaking title, "My mom is dead, I think."
Oh
as
my
recording
god.
and uploading to the internet was what Jessica had taught them to do.
Wow. I mean, at least the kids are safe, man.
Bermeja.
Oh, hold on. At least the kids are safe. I'm not gonna lie. At least the kids are safe. That's insane. That's scary. That's scary. Man, it's just crazy how people can be. It's crazy how people can be. The dark side is strong. Don't laugh. Yeah, you're right, Tylus. The poor kid. That's insane. She even taught them how to upload it to YouTube as well. Disgusting. Oh my god, it's insane. Traumatized for life, basically. Yeah. I mean, I'm so glad that they're still alive, but wow, that's insane. I mean, it's pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie, guys. These videos are pretty interesting. So I think I added them. I've not watched like some of these videos. What do we say? Do we watch one more video, maybe? The horrifying real events, 5 most disturbing internet, 5 most disturbing hunting encounters caught on camera, 5 most disturbing diving videos. I mean, this channel, bro, guys, this channel is so freaking good. You got a couple of them, but Chilling Scares is one of them that is I highly recommend, like, you know, watching it. We can do one more. We can do one more. Maybe. Yeah, Traumatized for Life. That's crazy, right? Which one do we want to watch? 5 most disturbing diving videos. Wait, YouTuber that became murderous. Another one? Have I watched this one? Caving vids are kind of crazy. Wait, which one is that? Or do you mean caving videos in general? What else do we have? YouTubers that became murderous. Is this like a... Oh, so he did one a couple of months ago. Also, Philios, when are you gonna play some more horror games? I need to find myself a horror game as well, guys. I want to play a horror game again. Horror games are pretty fun. You know what? Let's watch this one as well. In general, yep.
Was a 59.
Okay, we're gonna watch this one as well. We're just, you know, in the scary mood, I guess. The creepy mood, the dark mood. Wait, that sounds so wrong. Wait, hold on. No, not like that, guys. We're gonna watch one more, and then we'll be doing some gaming too.
Year-old American
To the rest of the
scientist
stream.
who
I can't do a long stream, unfortunately, guys. So I'm not sure if we're gonna play 2 games after this
was working as a
because I need to wake up early. Nah, bro. I'm serious, bro. The dark side can really corrupt people, even in real life. Never think so much about negative stuff. You can lose your sanity from it. Always think about positive. I mean, that's true, but you know, sometimes it's even though you want to think about like the positive side of things, it gets hard. Like life can get hard in general, and a lot of negative stuff can come your way and will come your way. You know, it happens to everyone. Even if social media, you see like people living their best life. Like, don't get it twisted. It's all like, you know, for the views and for the clout, and people post their good side, their success on the internet. There's not a lot of people that, you know, post their downs. I would say their you know, their ups and downs. They usually post their ups and not their downs. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So yeah, it's you gotta be ready for those things, right? And while I do think it's better, I always try to do it as well. You know, see the positive side in most of the things. It can get hard because sometimes there's like more negative ways coming at you than positive, and it kind of like tries to outweigh them. But it's difficult though. It's difficult.
Professor of
But I do agree with you, Tyler. Definitely.
molecular biology
In general, yeah, caving exploring videos are
in
pretty,
Dresden, Germany.
insane.
A big part of her job at this institute was to travel around the world and hold conferences on the latest developments in her field. In July of 2019,
Hold on. I
Suzanne
wasn't paying attention. My positive way of thinking is just video games. It makes me happy and I get calm from it. My thing as well, right? Because video games have always been a part of my life from when I was a kid, ever since right now. Now I'm an adult, and they always just like this way to escape from reality. I know it sounds cliche, but I don't know. It's just video games is just the one thing that always, you know, that I could always like go to whenever like things weren't going my way or I was feeling down. Now, I don't want to get this like overly dramatic or sad, you know, because my life hasn't been that bad, I would say. But yeah, you know, there's obviously in everybody's life there's like things, you know, that aren't as fun as you would want. And yeah, gaming is a good like escape from reality, especially yeah, for me, it definitely helped me in my life. So I do agree. I do agree. I'm currently very motivated to expand my Twitch presence, like update and tweak my profile and stream overlay. Yo, let's freaking go. I mean, if I have to be honest, your stream overlay already looks
was
pretty
a
dang good, Philios. It already looks pretty dang good, so, you know, maybe just gotta get the streaming hours up, right?
59-year-old American scientist who was working as a professor of molecular biology in Dresden, Germany. A big part of her job at this institute was to travel around the world and hold conferences on the latest developments in her field. In July of 2019, she traveled to the scenic Greek island of Crete for one of these conferences, not knowing that this was going to be her last, and that the person responsible for her end would be caught because of his videos on YouTube. The incident happened on July 2nd, when, after a conference, Suzanne spent time with her peers and played the public piano in the venue's lobby before saying her goodbyes and heading out to her hotel in the afternoon. Sadly, this was the last time anyone saw Suzanne alive. Her coworkers noticed her absence when she didn't show up for the second conference scheduled for 6 p.m. that evening. It wasn't like her to skip events out of the blue. Something wasn't right. A fact that became increasingly clear when over 24 hours passed without anyone hearing from her. So, on July 3rd, her colleagues called the police to check on her, hoping she was simply sick or something similar. However, when officers arrived at her hotel room, no one answered the door. They acquired a spare key from the hotel management and went inside, only to find the room completely empty and undisturbed. All of Suzanne's belongings were also still in the room. The only things missing were her running shoes and a set of exercise clothes. Those who knew her immediately understood what this meant. You see, in addition to her academic prowess and piano expertise, Suzanne was also an athlete at heart. She was a double black belt in Taekwondo, and despite her age, loved going on a run every day.
Wait, hold on, what?
Black belt in Taekwondo expertise, Suzanne was also an athlete at heart. She was a double black belt in Taekwondo, and
wait, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know a lot about fighting sports, but isn't a black belt pretty high in Taekwondo, especially? Hold on. Taekwondo, hold on. Taekwondo, all belts, perhaps? Okay, hold on. Let's look at this. Yup, that's the highest rank. That is the highest rank, a black belt. A double, I don't know what double black belt means. I'm assuming that's even better. But dang. She was pretty dang good in that.
Despite her age, loved going on a run every day. Knowing this helped investigators narrow down what might have happened to her. Put simply, she likely went on a run soon after returning to her hotel on July 2nd, and something went wrong after that. She wasn't super familiar with the area, and to make matters worse, the weather was uncomfortably hot that afternoon. There was a strong possibility she collapsed from the heat or something else along those lines. After putting this together, the Crete police immediately dispatched a search and rescue team in the area surrounding her hotel and around popular running trails. Her family even traveled to Crete and put a €50,000 reward for anyone who could help find Suzanne. Unfortunately, Suzanne was nowhere to be found. That is until 5 days later, on July 8th, when two young men were exploring one of the abandoned World War II Nazi bunkers scattered across Crete. Around 200 meters in, one of them noticed a piece of burlap covering something on the ground. They picked it up from one end to see what was underneath. And what they found was the aftermath of one of the most horrific crimes in Crete's recent history. The burlap was covering the bloody remains of Suzanne Eaton. A later autopsy report discovered that Suzanne had several broken ribs, multiple fractures throughout her body, a missing ear, and much, much more.
A missing ear?
Whatever happened to her certainly was not an accident. The investigators began searching for clues, and fortunately it didn't take long for them to make their first major breakthrough. A set of car tire tracks leading up to the entrance of the bunker. Analyzing these tracks allowed investigators to find the car responsible for transporting Suzanne's remains to that bunker. It belonged to 27-year-old Yanis Paraskakis, a local sheep farmer. But when questioned, Yanis feigned ignorance and claimed that him driving through that area on that day was nothing more than a coincidence. He went as—
What happened to her? I mean, we gotta find out, but I'm assuming this guy freaking killed her in the worst imaginable way. She was missing an ear. A freaking ear.
As far as to say that he didn't even know about the existence of that bunker, a lie that would eventually lead to his arrest.
Yeah, that's big.
You see, Yanis had a dream to become a successful YouTuber. He started a channel with his own name in 2012 and began—
What the hell? Why is he wearing the Avatar outfit? What the freak?
Videos. However, if you go to his channel today, all you'll find are 3 videos of him performing an ancient Chinese martial art and meditation technique called Qigong. That's because a couple days before Suzanne's body was discovered, Yanis deleted every other video on his channel. And once authorities recovered some of these deleted videos, it became clear why.
How are police able to do that? I'm always curious. If you delete a video and you always hear it like people or the police recovered the videos or they found like the lost footage. How? Like, I don't understand. How? Do they got like access to a freaking like a separate like space or something? Like the back end of YouTube where even though you delete a video, they can still access it or something? How do these things work?
You see, most of these deleted videos involved Yanis exploring abandoned World War II bunkers, including the one where Suzanne's remains were discovered.
Wow, he thought he was slick.
The authorities the go-ahead
he thought
to
he was
formally arrest
smart.
him on July 15. It also allowed them to investigate him further, and the evidence they discovered was overwhelming. As it turned out, the land where this bunker was located was owned by Yanis's family. Investigators also found traces of Suzanne's blood in his car's trunk. When confronted with this evidence, Yanis cracked and told the whole story. According to him, he saw Suzanne running down the road and something came over him. He hit her with his car twice before putting her in his car, driving to the bunker and ending her life there. He later changed his story to where he was compelled to commit this crime by a demon.
Oh
Unfortunately for him, the jury didn't buy this one bit.
Are you joking? I was possessed by a demon? Really?
And sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole in 2020. Now, this should have been the end.
Hold on, what was the
life in prison without the possibility of— Fortunately for him, the jury didn't buy this one bit and sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole in 2020. Now, this should have been the end of Yanis' story, but from what I've seen, there's more to his actions than just this one crime he was convicted of. The thing is, Yanis presented his vile act as a crime of opportunity, something he did completely out of nowhere. However, there's evidence to suggest that Yanis might be a full-blown serial—
Wow. The videos probably aren't truly deleted. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well, right? There has to be some sort of like space, back-end, cloud storage, whatever, where the videos go. Like YouTube says they freaking delete your videos. But oh, that's right. Aren't when like people get like hacked and they get their channels deleted, YouTube is still able to recover them. So indeed, they're never like truly deleted. I mean, I guess that's a good thing, right? For in this case, or if you lose your channel for some other reason. But I'm confused. She has a black belt. How can someone hurt her, bro? We're not living in a all peace of world, Tylus. You can be the biggest guy ever to exist on the planet, but if a gun hits you, or if you get shot, or get stabbed, or get run over by a car, bro, you could have the I don't know, like the biggest, like the best physique, or the best like freaking athletic body, or whatever, or the best fighting skills. Yeah, fighting skills aren't gonna save you. Not in something else other than a fist fight. I mean, a knife, if you study like those sports where you learn how to disable or dismantle like people, maybe. But if someone's got a gun, yeah, you better pray. Fist skills mean nothing when you... Yep, exactly. Exactly. Oh, never mind. He already explained what happened to her. It's weird. Why did that guy run her over with a... You're asking as if... we don't know, Tylus. Or at least...
Killer.
Well, we do know. He was supposedly possessed by a demon.
For instance, he was apparently detained by the police twice before, once for arson and once for animal cruelty, both of which are well-known early behaviors of serial killers. After his arrest, several other women also came forward, testifying that he had tried to run them over with his car as well in the past. So, Suzanne was more than likely not his first victim. However, the most solid evidence against Giannis is in one of the deleted videos he uploaded to YouTube. In it, we can see him showing some very human-looking bones scattered throughout the same bunker Suzanne was discovered in. These bones were never discovered by the authorities, suggesting they might have been removed by Giannis to hide evidence. But what makes this truly disturbing is what his friend says at one point in the same video.
His friend?
This roughly translates into, "Is this where you left that old guy?" Insinuating that Giannis had disposed of one of his previous victims in the same bunker before. And if that is the case, one can only wonder how many other people Giannis has killed over the years.
Is this where you left that old guy?
Simply manage.
That's insane. Wow. I don't understand those people at all. I'm confused. I mean, I think it's better for you to... I think it's better to not understand those people. Well, I guess. Because what's going on in their head, a normal sane person would never understand. A normal sane person would never understand. There's no thing that can justify taking someone's life over nothing. It seems like the dude didn't even know her, but yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
65 was a YouTube channel owned and operated by 24-year-old Samantha Wolford. She lived in the small community of Monticello, Texas, with her husband Ernest Lee Ibarra, aka Ernie, and their 5 children. She usually made videos about her day-to-day life and other random topics. Her story began in 2008 when she was at the lowest point of her life. She'd recently become the single mother of a pair of twins and had no love interest in her life. That's when she met Ernie at a local tattoo shop, and the two hit it off right from the get-go, eventually getting in a relationship and starting a family together. In one of her videos, Samantha described the day she...
So how is she in the lowest point of her life? Well, maybe she just got...
She met Ernie as
a divorce or something. I don't know.
Happiest day of her life. Together, they were blessed with 3 more children, including 1 more pair of twins.
Dang!
5...
Wow! So she got a twin, she got 2 kids already, like twins. Then she got 3, another of which 2 of them were twins again. It's insane. You just go from nothing to freaking 5 kids.
Kids was a challenge, but Ernie made it work by taking a second job in pizza delivery. So while they had endured tough times together, Samantha, Ernie, and their 5 children appeared to be the perfect loving family. However, while being a stay-at-home mother was all she could do at the time, Samantha still had a dream of becoming a famous actress one day.
I've always wanted to be an actress. I think it is so much fun. I've been extras in movies. I've had small parts in like short films. It is so much fun and it is so beautiful. It is one of the most amazing forms of art ever to be able to express yourself that way. I think it's amazing.
So, in October 2010, she created her YouTube channel and started posting videos, hoping to become a popular YouTuber and fulfill her dream on the internet instead.
Go get it, girl.
And things were going surprisingly okay in the beginning.
Dang! Hold on. 27K, 15K, 2.1K. That's not bad views. That is
Samantha
not bad
would
views.
post new videos whenever
We are living in a GTA world. Yeah. Honestly. It's crazy. I would say the US is living in a GTA world.
she had something
Obviously, it happens in the whole world, but you know, it just so happens that we hear a lot of stories from the US. But
new to say. And while most of her videos struggled to get past 100 views at the time, the few viewers she had were enough to keep her going. But as time passed on, her passion for making videos turned into an obsession. She started spending more of her time on making videos than her family, putting even more pressure on an already stressed out Ernie. Around 2014, she also started accusing Ernie of hurting her in her videos, hinting at just how bad their relationship was going. But then, after posting a seemingly random video in March of 2014, Samantha mysteriously vanished from the internet. Maybe she lost interest in YouTube or just wanted to focus on her family again. No one knew exactly why she quit so abruptly. Then, on the 20th of February 2015, viewers finally received the update they were waiting for. Unfortunately, it was far more tragic than anyone could have imagined. It started with the Texas police receiving a call from...
Guys, we know what to do. Let's hope and pray the kids are still safe.
One of Samantha's aunts asking them to save her niece's life.
Taos County 911, what's your emergency?
I have a home invasion. My niece is tied up. I am at the verge of untying my niece at this particular moment.
Okay, she's tied up.
She is tied up and gagged.
What the
And
frick?
gagged? Is that what you
Yes,
said?
ma'am.
Is there anybody else there?
So a robber?
Where are the kids? We have 5 small infants asleep.
Apparently, 3 masked men broke into their home in the middle
dang.
of the night and attacked the couple while they were asleep. The intruders then tied Samantha in her bedroom and after hitting him with a gun a few times, kidnapped Ernie. Samantha somehow managed to get her ties loose enough to call her aunt, who then contacted the police after arriving at Samantha's home herself. By the time officers arrived, Samantha's aunt had set her free from the restraints. The kids were fortunately safe as well. However, what made this whole situation strange was that the intruders didn't take anything else from their home besides Ernie. And from the people who knew...
That is hella suspicious though. That is hella suspicious. So the robbers came into the house, they took Ernie, and no belongings. She's behind it. Guys, case solved. She's behind it.
him personally, Ernie wasn't the type of guy to make enemies with dangerous people. Put simply, investigators sensed something fishy with the whole situation.
I think.
But all that paled in comparison to the main objective, which was to save Ernie as soon as possible. Unfortunately, Samantha didn't know anything that could give investigators their first clue. With no other option, the officers took Samantha to the station for further questioning, hoping to extract any useful information they could from her. But what none of them expected was that Samantha would change up her story completely after entering the interrogation room. Where before she didn't know anything about the assailants, now she had the name of a potential suspect, John Rebel. As Samantha's story goes, she was talking to her friend about Ernie's supposed attacks on Samantha, when suddenly a man with the pseudonym John Rebel overheard their conversation and started talking about how a man shouldn't treat a woman that way and that he was going to handle the situation. Well, as it turned out, the name John Rebel actually belonged to someone, a man named Jonathan Sanford. The police found and arrested John not long after Samantha gave out his name, right alongside his two accomplices, Jose Ponce and Octavius Rhymes. Surprisingly, Jonathan put up little to no resistance and immediately confessed to kidnapping Ernie.
Wow.
He also confirmed the worst possible outcome.
He's dead.
That by the time the police got involved, Ernie was already dead. The three took him to a secluded forest and executed him with one shot to the back of his head.
Jesus!
However, even after learning all this, one question remained. Why? Why would three men who didn't even know Ernie kidnap him from his home like that? Every answer to this question pointed back to Samantha, who kept denying any involvement. Even if the investigators ignored her suddenly remembering the perpetrator's name, there were several other suspicious aspects to her story. Like, how was she able to untie herself enough to call her aunt? Why didn't any of her neighbors hear the break-in? And why were the kids all sleeping in the same room, when usually they're scattered throughout the house? It wasn't long before investigators uncovered undeniable evidence of her direct involvement.
Yup.
This included
I told you
instruction
guys.
messages she sent to Octavius when the officers were trying to call Ernie's phone, which he had on him. These read, "Kill his phone. Shut that down.
I knew
Ditch
it.
phone.
I knew it.
Move." There was no doubt about it at this point. Samantha was in colluding with her husband's killers. And as the investigation went
Why though? Like, bro was working 2 jobs to freaking sustain his family, you know, getting bread for the family, trying to take care of his family. She just does this. She's a stay-at-home mom.
on, the real story came out as well. Samantha had apparently become addicted to the idea of becoming a famous YouTuber, and her neglect of the kids became a constant source of fighting between the couple. But instead of resolving the issue like a responsible adult, Samantha colluded with her friend's boyfriend to hatch a cartoonishly evil scheme to get rid of Ernie. They first wanted to plant hard drugs in his car and get him arrested, but later made the heartless decision that taking his life would be much easier.
Bro,
there's also a chance that
insane.
Samantha went with the murder plan because it would have brought her more attention on YouTube. She was eventually sentenced to 149 years in prison for killing her own husband.
100? Wait, he seems so goated, bro. He is. I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but from the looks of it, you know, he was just working 2 jobs, you know, trying to take care of his family while she stayed at home making YouTube videos. I mean, there's nothing wrong with making YouTube videos, but at least provide the family something too, right? Spend time with your kids and whatnot. Well, also 149. How does the sentence system work even? That's just basically like
5 children sentenced to 149 years in prison for killing her own husband, leaving her 5 children completely orphaned in the process.
Dang. At the very least, the kids are safe. That's the most important
writer
thing.
living in the town of Carlsbad, California, with
That's
her
the most
husband
important
Greg Mulvihill. However, while her corporate job paid the bills,
I can watch these videos for hours and hours on end, though. I don't understand those people mind at all, and I don't even want to know. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You don't even want to know what goes on into those minds of those people. They're like, usually the people that do these kinds of things have like a background of like, I don't know, some mental issues and whatnot. And I just always think, if it was already known that they have like mental issues and whatnot, they should be like put on watch. Or how does it even work? I don't know how it exactly works, but people should really keep a more I don't know. It's hard for me to explain because I know how to explain it in Dutch, but it's a bit harder to find the right words in English without sounding like too harsh or too unhinged or whatnot, or rude even. But you know, I think it's important to pay attention to those figures, right? That have mental issues and whatnot. They need therapy. Yeah, exactly. They need therapy. But the thing is, they don't always get the right or the appropriate treatment or the treatment they deserve or need even. So yeah, it's
Diana's true passion was
it's unfortunate. And yeah, you know, most of these things usually led to, unfortunately, these kinds of situations, right? So yeah,
becoming a triathlon athlete and documenting her journey on video, resulting in her eventually...
Real, these videos are so bro. These videos are so freaking interesting. The only thing is, whenever I watch those videos and I don't play games, it doesn't always feel as productive, because I do like to progress in games. So I actually have a goal for the stream. But at the same time, who gives a fuck, bro? I'm gonna do whatever I want.
starting her own fitness blog.
It is my stream, guys.
Lovejoy Fitness, and a YouTube channel by the name of Heavy D. Mulvihill. Writer.
What's the story again? Let me recap real quick. More than that.
Diana Lovejoy was a successful technical writer living in the town of Carlsbad, California, with her husband Greg Mulvihill. However, while her corporate job paid the bills, Diana's true passion was becoming a triathlon athlete and documenting her journey on video, resulting in her eventually starting her own fitness blog called Lovejoy Fitness, and a YouTube channel by the name of Heavy DJ. She started this channel all the way back in 2008, and over the years used it to document various parts of her life. From meeting her parents after a long time, to going scuba diving with her husband. At one point, she even tried to become a cooking show host of sorts.
Doesn't that smell nice?
Unfortunately, her channel never really took off.
Doesn't that smell nice? Wait, what? That was so random.
With her husband. At one point, she even tried to become a cooking show host of sorts.
Doesn't that smell nice?
Unfortunately, her channel never really took off, forcing her to eventually cut her losses and move on with her life in March of 2012. Or at least that's what it looked like from the outside. In reality, Diana's reason for abandoning her YouTube channel was kind of wholesome. You see, Diana and Greg had been trying for a baby for years by this point. Tragically, Diana had suffered 8 different miscarriages and was quickly losing hope. But then in September of 2012, the two were blessed with a perfectly healthy baby boy, marking an end to their struggle. However, what should have been a moment of celebration started a downward spiral of lies and betrayals, eventually culminating in an assassination attempt. Things started going downhill when just a few months after the birth of their son, Greg lost his job, leaving Diana as the sole breadwinner. The stress of the previous miscarriages, combined with the crushing weight of having to support a family in an extremely expensive city all on her own, spelled disaster for their marriage. It wasn't long before the two were constantly fighting with each other. Things as
8 miscarriages. That is really sad, by the way. And miscarriages can be really like devastating to the mind of a well, not only of a mother, right, but also as a dad.
Escalated even further on July 9, 2014, when Greg returned home only to see a police officer waiting for him at the door. The officer explained that Greg wasn't allowed to enter his own home because, as it turned out, Diana had accused him of attacking both her and their son. What followed was a nearly 2-year-long divorce mediation, during which the investigators found no evidence supporting Diana's accusations, allowing Greg to get a 50-50 custody of their son. Diana was also ordered to pay $120,000 as a part of their divorce settlement in late 2015.
Excuse me? How much?
Accusations, allowing Greg to get a 50-50 custody of their son. Diana was also ordered to pay $120,000 as a part of their divorce settlement in late 2000.
$120K? Okay, maybe they're rich people, right? But dang, wow, 120K? That seems like a lot for a divorce.
2015. But before the divorce could be finalized, Greg received a phone call from an anonymous number that changed everything. The voice on the other end claimed to be a private investigator Diana had hired recently. And according to this investigator, he already had solid proof of the attack claims Diana had made against Greg. But for some unknown reason, he wanted to help Greg win the case, so he claimed to have left the documents taped to a power pole located on a small hiking trail near Greg's home. Greg naturally found this whole thing pretty suspicious and decided to take one of his friends with him to the pole
on the night of
September 4th, 2016. Sadly, despite his suspicions, he failed to grasp the true intentions of the strangely helpful private detective.
Hello, this is 911.
Yeah. My friend has just been shot.
Do you know who shot him?
There's a guy lying down like a sniper.
What the frick?
Did you see him at all?
Briefly, we saw the gun, and he shot at us like 6 or 7 times.
When Greg reached the pole, a sniper opened fire on him,
what the hell?
shooting him clean through the chest. Fortunately, the bullet missed his heart by mere inches, giving him a second chance at life. By the time the police arrived, the shooter had already fled the crime scene. But a quick survey of the area allowed the investigators to uncover a pair of towels the shooter left behind. Running a DNA test on these towels...
He got shot in the chest and still survived. That's a sign. That's a sign. That... Bro, wow. That's insane. 120 grand is a lot, even for rich people. That's what I'm saying. 120 grand, like... I'm assuming that will be based on your, like on how much money you have, I think. Because there's no way a regular, like, person could just somehow freaking cough up, like, 120 grand, right? That's pretty insane. Also, yeah, this whole story is pretty weird. The guy just freaking got contacted by a private detective that was hired by his wife, and the private detective for some reason wanted to help the man win the court sitting or whatever was going on. I mean, I'm assuming the wife had like bad intentions, right? or even the assassination
led to a man named Weldon McDavid, Diana's shooting instructor. Weldon tried to deny any involvement at first, but the evidence against him was overwhelming, as after a thorough search, investigators were able to find another set of the same towels at Diana's place as well. They had also received CCTV footage of Diana buying the burner phone Weldon later used to lure Greg into the secluded area.
Burner phone even, bro.
Most importantly,
this is like a whole setup.
Also found the gun Weldon used on Greg, hidden in the rafters of his garage. By this point, it was clear that Diana was the one who wanted to get rid of Greg, likely to avoid paying the divorce settlement and keep full custody.
What a
of her
nice
son.
smell.
Diana and Weldon were
Smells
arrested
nice,
for the
doesn't
attempted
it?
assassination
What did
on
she
Greg
say?
Mulvihill and tried for their crimes in November 2017. Both were found guilty, with Diana sentenced
lock
to
'em up.
26 years to life.
Lock them up. Give 100% custody over the children to the dad. And the dad just needs to freaking move out of there and live his own life with his kids, long and happy. She may never be able to see them again.
And Weldon to a harsher 50 years to life. The only silver lining in this entire case is that Greg was able to make a full recovery and is now living with his son.
Yes! Let's freaking go. That's such a satisfying ending, though. That is such a satisfying ending. I still wonder, the part with like the private detective is really weird. I mean, I guess the private detective thought more or saw the bad intentions of the women, or from the ex, right? And he was like, nah, I'm not getting into this. So, I mean, good on him though. The story is getting so confusing.
The
It
Gunnar
is.
Runar 87 channel on YouTube
Gunnar
seems
Runar.
oddly wholesome at first glance. It's
One
owned
video.
by an Icelandic boy named Gunnar Runar Sig Thorsson and contains a single 3.5-minute video of him confessing.
I'm confused. Why did she want to get rid of him? Why was it again? Maybe she wanted like full custody over the children. They already had some problems going on because he lost his job, and she was like the sole. Well, she just gave birth to her. I don't know if it was one kid or multiple, but she just gave birth, and yeah, she probably she wouldn't have to pay. Yeah, exactly. She wouldn't have to pay the 120 grand because of the divorce, right? I don't know how that works. It's kind of crazy to think about that you need to pay so much to the other person. But yeah.
His feelings to the girl he loves. The title translates.
Usually what you also see in those type of videos, that for some reason, for some miraculously reason, there's always like money involved. Like, I don't know in what way, but in one or another way, there's always money involved in that lead to those situations, right? It's mental problems alongside with money, you know, having no job or a struggle to sustain the family or whatnot. And man, with things going on being so stupidly expensive nowadays, it's insane, bro.
To English as My Confession to Hildur. In it, he says things like,
Hún án efa sérstakasta manneskja sem ég nokkuð tímann hitt. Ég verð svo ótrúlega glaður bara að vera nálægt henni. Það þarf ekki meira. Og þetta ætlað þér því að ég held sig orðinn ástfanginn með þér.
However, this seemingly heartfelt love letter turned out to be the key to solving one of the most horrific crimes in recent Icelandic history. And it all led back to Gunnar and the troubled life he had as a child. You see, Gunnar didn't have a mother growing up, resulting in him getting extremely close with his father. However, on the night of September 20th...
I'm not gonna lie, just story aside, I do think Gunnar is a pretty badass name though. It looks like one of those Viking names, right? That you see in those Viking movies. Gunnar, Ragnar, or something. Those names are pretty dang awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Money is the root of all most evil. That's facts though, Runic. Bro, he's spitting facts. He is spitting facts. That's so true.
When Gunnar was just 9 years old, his father
Money
decided
definitely
to
is
end
the
it
root
all
of all
using a gun. What made this already messed up situation even worse was the fact that Gunnar was in the room with his father and witnessed everything. Unsurprisingly, this took a heavy toll on Gunnar's mental health.
Of course. Gunnar. Oh man. Not the Gunnar allegations. Certified gooner.
He withdrew from the
Gooning with a purpose.
world and refused to accept his father's death as reality. Everything seemed hopeless for Gunnar. That is until primary school when
Bro, I can't unhear it right now. I can't unhear it right now, Runing. Because of you.
he met a girl named Hildur and instantly became infatuated with her. He'd admired her throughout school and into adulthood, but never found the courage to make a move, fearing he'd lose his only close friend. However, things changed in 2009 when Hildur got engaged to a man named Hannes. This gave Gunnar the push to do something about his feelings. But given his shy personality, he still couldn't confront Hildur directly. So, in March of 2009, he created a YouTube channel and uploaded his confession on there.
200K
never
views.
reciprocated his feelings, but the two remained friends. Even Hannes, Hildur's now husband, didn't seem to mind Gunnar's company. Something he likely regretted deeply just a year later.
He's gonna get
it all
murdered.
went down on the 14th of August 2010. Hildur was invited to a party that Gunnar was attending as well. But things got a bit out of hand and Hildur ended up drinking too much and passing out. Given their closeness, the task of getting her home safely was handed to Gunnar. But instead of dropping her off at Hannes' house like he should have, Gunnar took her to his own home. By the time Hildur woke up, it was already morning. She was understandably furious with Gunnar and immediately called one of her friends to drive her home. But
wait, did he?
Nothing could have prepared Hildur for the horrific scene she witnessed on
Did
the
he
other side of her
just
front door. Her
do
husband
things to her?
Hannes was lying on the top of the staircase near their bedroom, submerged in a pool of his own blood.
What the
She
frick?
ran outside and called the authorities. Sadly, it was already too late. Hannes had received over 20 stab wounds on his body, from his arms and legs to the back of his neck, and was long dead by the time Hildur found him. Given his condition, his death was ruled a homicide and investigators wasted no time in looking for the killer. And while they initially suspected one of his business rivals of committing this horrific crime, it didn't take long for investigators to find Gunnar's video confession to Hildur and bring him in for questioning. Gunnar denied knowing anything about it and was eventually let go due to lack of evidence. Fortunately, not all hope was lost, because not long after that, investigators found a bloody shoe print next to Hannes' bed. Looking deeper into this print revealed that it belonged to a pair of limited edition Adidas shoes. At the time, there were only 18
Limited
of these
edition?
specific shoes in all of Iceland. And
18?
Gunnar just so happened
Bro
to
was
own
a
one of these pairs. This
Bro was a hype beast.
was enough evidence to detain him once again. This also gave investigators the authority to do a thorough search of his belongings, resulting in them finding residue of Hannes' blood on his shoes, as well as in his car. Once presented with this evidence, Gunnar confessed to the murder. He also revealed that he'd been planning it for months, and even shoplifted the items he intended to use to avoid purchase records linking back to him. And while he didn't admit to it, Hildur also
Just had a
suspected him of
whole
spiking
setup.
her drink that night, since she usually never passed out like that. After committing the crime, he also drove to a nearby pier and dumped items used in the crime into the sea to get rid of any evidence. It was a well thought out plan, since he was only caught because the garbage bag he used to hide his shoe prints tore open as he walked. As for his motive, it was just as everyone had expected, with him making it clear during the investigation, stating,
Jealousy.
"I loved Hildur. She was supposed to be with me. She was not supposed to be with him." Surprisingly, he was found not guilty during his first trial on March 1, 2011 by reason of insanity stemming from his messed up childhood. However, the prosecution argued that he was fully aware of his actions and escalated the case to the Supreme Court of
That's some
Iceland.
BS.
Gunnar was found guilty on this second
Even though if he wasn't like aware or had like mental stable problems and he wasn't doing it on, or I don't know, he was under a psychosis or whatever. Bro, get this. I don't care if you freaking whatever is going on in your head, if you weren't there or not, or if you were conscious or whatnot. If you killed someone, you gotta pay for those things.
trial
You gotta
and
pay
was
for your
sentenced to
crimes.
16 years in prison. This was already
16
lenient
years,
given the
that's too
brutality of his
short.
crime, yet he ended up serving only half of that sentence as well. He was released under supervision in
fucking
July
serious?
2019 and now works at a local warehouse.
That's insane. Insane to think about.
Suzanne
And you know what's-
Eaton was a 59-year-old
Damn it. You know, it's also pretty insane the way the detectives and the police all like figure these things out, right? It's so cool to see. It's pretty interesting and crazy to see how how police actually like, I don't know, like discover those things, right? Because you would think he has like everything covered up, but that tiny little detail that he you know left behind, that he kind of like missed, the blood print on his shoes, and the way they can tie it back to a freaking Adidas freaking shoe. It's wild to think about it. Honestly, it looks like a pretty well. I don't know if fun is the right term, but like a pretty interesting job, you know, to investigate those cases. Yeah, it's interesting. I guess fun is not the right word to use, but yeah, he got lucky. I don't understand why, bro. I don't understand either. Maybe I'm more on the extreme side. I would just say, dang, that sounds pretty. It's gonna sound pretty harsh, but like at least give him like life imprisonment if you take someone's life. In my opinion, right? But 70 years is way too short, and he didn't even like he only said for like what, the half of it. That's crazy. Okay, guys, so what is the plan? I can only stream for I think an hour or so, and while we could just watch, you know, since we're in the whole setting of watching those videos, we could watch some more. Or we could play some games for the remainder of the stream. Honestly, I wouldn't mind watching some more videos. I don't know about y'all, but yeah. What? Eso es una tonteria? What does that mean, Runic? Can you speak Spanish, or are you just putting it in a translator? I'm just curious. What does that mean? That means... Oh, it's bullshit. Yup, it is bullshit. For real, 70 for taking a life is wild. 17, Runic, even. It was 17. So that makes it even worse. Make a cut tier list. Oh my god. What of God? Very limited Spanish. Oh, y'all want God of War? I mean, I don't mind playing a bit of God of War for the remainder of the stream. I was gonna play some Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but I don't mind God of War as well. A cut tier list is gonna take a while. I don't have the time for it though. What do y'all say? Watch some more videos, or play some God of War? I mean, I know what Tylus is gonna say. Yeah, we don't have the time to make a cut tier list. I need to at least make 2 times, or I need to have at least 2 hours, for that to make a tier list. That's gonna take a while, and I also need to set up I also need to set up the the criteria and whatnot. Fudge, reading comprehension, devil strikes again. Reading comprehension level. Dang, that's crazy. So yeah, let me, what do y'all say? Some gaming? Do we finish out the stream with some gaming, or do we just continue watching some videos? I don't mind either, to be fair. It's up to y'all. In the meantime, let me put some music, even though the people on YouTube can't hear it. But yeah, dang, interesting videos though. It's fine, then watch a It's fine, then watch a video about why Unreal Engine 5 is bad. Oh boy. Is there a video why is Unreal Engine 5 so bad? Wait, Gaming Bulls. And I watch Gaming Bulls sometimes. Okay, why Unreal Engine 5 games are breaking PCs. If y'all have any suggestions for other videos that I can watch, that, keep in mind, is not like anything too copy strike heavy, so no like TV shows, because I've done that in the past and I got the consequences for it. I felt the consequences for it, let's just say that. More videos, it sounds fine to me. Okay, we're gonna watch this. It's only 8 minutes. Why Unreal Engine 5 games are breaking PCs and gamers' patience.
Unreal Engine has problems.
Is it that bad though? I don't remember it being that bad.
Replete with incredible surface tech.
Also, while we're watching some videos, let me just change the title real quick. Chill day watching YouTube vids. Hold on, guys. Quickly need to change the title. All right. Just in case, you know, you never know when somebody comes into the chat. Let me quickly, before I kind of show stuff that y'all are not supposed to see. Let me just do this. Change the title over on YouTube. And I guess we change the thumbnail as well. Make it a bit more general. Okay, cool. I guess that is good. And now we should be ready to go. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the video. And it's this one, right? Okay. I can still see. That's cap. I know you can see. I got the preview of what you guys can exactly see on my screen or on your screen to my left. You can't fool me, Runic. Yeah, it's bad, bro. That's why I don't buy Unreal Engine 5 games anymore. It got performed. Bro, I don't even, to be fair, I don't even pay attention to the engine the game is built on before I buy a game. If a game looks cool to me, I just buy it and I guess I just hope that the game runs fine.
Unreal Engine has problems, alongside cutting-edge graphics, replete with incredible surface texture and
bro,
stunning lighting.
You can't fool me. I'm prepared. I'm not gonna freaking leak myself, I guess. Well, wait, whoa, pause. Wait, that's a wrong choice of words. But you can't fool me.
Are performance issues even the most top tier of PC rigs can't avoid. Indeed, games made with Unreal Engine 5 and released to console aren't immune to these issues either, but the problems are prevalent for PC players the most. With an increasing number of studios switching from their proprietary game engines to using Unreal Engine 5, CD Projekt Red and their upcoming sequels to The Witcher and Cyberpunk 2077 included, plus formerly 343 Industries, now Halo Studios, crafting Master Chief's newest space shooting foray, just two principal examples. Worry is now growing amongst gamers that these performance issues will become ubiquitous. The problems amongst Unreal Engine 5 games released.
Word is shut though. We are lucky COD and Battlefield don't use Unreal Engine 5, thank God. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know if if a game uses Unreal Engine 5. I don't even pay attention to it. I think it shows whenever you boot up a game, but yeah. Hey, I'm kind of inconsistent in watching the stream. I'm at my girlfriend's place. No worries, videos. Just pop in whenever you can and I guess say hi to your girlfriend.
Thus far, center
no
on
worries,
subpar
man.
frame rates and stuttering. Again, these problems dominate on PC, but we've seen some issues of stuttering in the likes of Black Myth Wukong, Silent Hill 2, Stalker 2, Tekken 8, Frostpunk 2, and Ark Survival Ascended, alongside some others. There's evidence the bulk of performance problems are patched out via post-release updates, which points to studios perhaps not optimizing their games thoroughly enough during development, instead relying on fixing issues prevalent at launch later on. However, this problem has existed for some time and is certainly an issue with games not made on Unreal Engine 5.
Silent Hill 2!
No, the issue is greater with Epic's toolkit. Indeed, developers, solo and indie to AAA, are discussing issues on Epic's forums that are more widespread than the stuttering just mentioned. Examples include struggles to attain frame rates beyond 20 FPS, even in low settings, unusually high GPU runtimes, again on low settings, overheating, blue screen crashes, laggy textures, slow loading, even in near empty scenes. The list really goes on. And again,
I already told her about you and what kind of person you are. Aw, dang. That's so, I appreciate it. I appreciate that, Filios. Hey, I'm just a regular guy, you know, that loves gaming and likes to be positive in life. And we're all here to have a good time, right? So, yeah, I appreciate it, bro. I really appreciate it. Hopefully she can see the good in you as well. And you guys are going to be happy for, you know, a very long time with each other. So, dang, I appreciate it. Speeding the gospel video. That's what I'm saying, yo. W's Filio. W Filios. That's why I avoid games that are made in Unreal Engine 5. I don't want to break my PC. I mean, I guess if you tweak your settings a bit,
these are issues
your PC could handle. But I will say sometimes my freaking PC does. I will say when I play some newer games or games in higher settings, my PC is turning into a jet. It's turning into a jet engine with how much sound it makes. So I do kind of see it, but I was never really like aware of it. And what a ramen lover you are, bro. For the rookies. Wait, hold on. Peep the sign. The ramen sign is right over there. Peep the background, guys. It's your #1 ramen fanboy. Yeah, Indomie, best freaking ramen.
Issues during development, we're not even remotely talking about finished products here. If game makers are grappling with these issues during development, then it's no wonder those games with publisher-imposed release dates are entering the world with performance.
Be right back. I completely forgot about my rice. Oh no. Oh no, Runic. Bro, you gotta save the rice. It's your base ingredient for your meal. Rice is like the how do you say that? Okay, I can't think of a comparison, but if you have a meal, guys, with rice in it, you gotta make sure the rice is perfectly cooked, perfectly done. It's the start of your whole meal. Greetings back to you from her. Thank you so much. Hope y'all have a good time though.
Problems. And that's not to mention game developers that are small scale. As a result of these, their projects might never even see the light of day. There must be solutions. Thankfully, Epic's in-house engineers have posted to Unreal Engine's official blog on February 4th, 2025.
One more thing. Sorry guys that I'm pausing the video so much. Filios, when are you gonna do a dual stream? Playing my horror friend, my girlfriend plays horror games on stream for the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Their thoughts relating to shader stuttering alongside upcoming ideas they're iterating on as fixes. Given the length of this post, we're to assume Epic believes that this to be the principal cause behind the wealth of issues studios are experiencing during development, and gamers are suffering whilst playing. To explain shaders as per the blog update,
what the hell?
These programs execute on GPUs to perform the various steps in rendering a 3D image. Ostensibly, they're pieces of code written to complete a specific task. Shaders can govern shadowing, deformation, transforming, even intricate processes such as the color of individual pixels based on surface material, multiple light sources, various environmental effects, so on and so forth. As graphical fidelity increases, the process behind shader compilation becomes more complex, and thus more time-consuming for drivers to
Black Myth
compile
Wukong
shader
is such a good game
into
though.
Code readable via GPU. The result? When a render engine realizes it needs to compile a new shader, the game stops functioning to complete this process. We're talking milliseconds here, but given the exorbitant amount of shader code in any given in-game scene, the result is that the on-screen stuttering that we're seeing in those games listed early on. The blog dives deeper, outlining distinctions between CPU programs, approaches taken by different GPUs, the instruction sets defined by application programming interfaces (APIs), such as Direct3D or Vulkan, and is good reading for anyone tech-minded enough to make sense of it all. For the rest of us, though, the bottom line is this: Epic have thoroughly outlined these issues and are working hard to fix them, which is great. Released within Unreal Engine 5.2 was the ability to pre-cache PSOs, or pipeline state objects. PSOs describe the rendering of objects via several shaders working together alongside other GPU settings. The intricate detail of modern game worlds results in millions of PSOs needing to be compiled to render an image correctly based on numerous parameters. Shaders rendering materials on different meshes together with various pipeline settings simultaneously, for instance. It's technical reading again, but the summarization is that Epic's solution is to determine PSOs during a game's loading time by pre-caching a material's likely mesh information together with video quality settings. It'll produce subsets of possible PSOs, a smaller amount than the full range of possibilities, but by and large enough to correctly render 3D objects in scene without performance-related issues like stuttering. An API which provides hints to the system on what is likely going to be needed ahead of time is also in the works at Epic as per the blog update. Will pre-caching PSOs eradicate the performance issues we're seeing? After all, a quick scour of Reddit yields players who are still struggling with shader pre-cache following Unreal Engine 5.2's release. Tekken 8 has suffered from numerous forms of input lag. Stalker 2 players experience inconsistent traversal stutter. Frostpunk 2 harbors shockingly low frame rates, an issue certain users, again over on Reddit, describe as simulation speed issues and not necessarily problems isolated to frame rates. Ark Survival Ascended is a
I don't want to be that guy. I'm going to be honest, I don't want to be that guy. But usually, I'm just going to say, I don't want to be that guy. Let's just take that up front. I don't want to be that guy, but usually all the complaints and performance issues, aren't they always from like people with like more lower end-ish PCs? I could be wrong. But I don't know. I feel like anyone with a decently, like maybe a high mid to high end PC should run into no problems, right? Well, not always, by the way, not always, but I don't know. Usually, or what I've seen from online Reddit or forums and whatnot, is the people that do run into these issues a lot, they have like pretty old graphic cards. And I don't want to justify it at all, like games are not being optimized at the launch or at the release, but yeah, it kind of goes both ways, I guess.
Amongst the worst offenders, with players reporting frame rate drops, unplayable screen stuttering, and system crashes, even on high-end PC hardware.
Go to
PS5
game, by the way.
And on Xbox Series X and S.
Horrible performance.
These performance issues greatly affect the joy of gameplay as well, even when they're not at their worst. Case in point is Black Myth Wukong, a game with rapid-fire Souls-like combat, where even the slightest mistimed button press can spell certain doom for your character. The solutions for gamers as end users are perhaps to lower resolutions, to disable ray tracing, to reduce texture quality, or to even cap frame rates. And whilst these solutions might prove fruitful for some, they aren't really long-term fixes, and they certainly appear counterintuitive given Unreal Engine 5's promise of glorious-looking games. Taking steps to make games...
Is that laugh emoji, Filios? Is that a yes? Can I take that as a yes? Unreal Engine 5 is beautiful, but it's bad for performance. If you are a 4K gamer, then you are cooked. Luckily, I'm not a 4K gamer, I guess. I usually game at 1440p. That's for me. For me, right now, that's sufficient. That's plenty. But even if you play in 1080p in ultra setting with RT, you still stutter, and that's a shame. You always have to use DLS to play it smooth. On 1080p is kind of crazy.
Games look worse for them to function correctly is backwards, to say the least. So the hope that Epic's solution to fix shader stuttering via pre-caching PSOs is certainly great. More solutions via Epic are likely coming, so hopefully these grave concerns will be ironed out en masse before this hardware generation's culmination. Now, it's worth pointing out at this juncture are the handful of UE5 bright spots, games released via Unreal Engine 5 that haven't exhibited anywhere near the level of performance problems experienced by other games. For an example, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 features boundary-pushing fidelity, most notably in its application of Unreal Engine 5's meta-human facial character rendering, and this all works fluidly to present one of the greatest visual spectacles ever committed to video games.
Help us. Do you want to join them?
You came here to help.
Let's go.
Listen to yourself.
What is beyond there is too dark.
We are leaving. Now.
Don't give me orders, slaver.
RoboCop Rogue City is another one, able to apply all UE5's surface texture capability, global illumination, real-time reflections, and virtual shadow maps, whilst still targeting a buttery smooth 60 FPS on current-gen consoles. More UE5 games are coming, and given Epic's dedication to solving performance problems, there's hope that the number releasing without issues will increase, which is good. For teams like CD Projekt Red, who've switched to developing in Unreal Engine 5, the concern for games like The Witcher 4 and Cyberpunk Orion won't dissipate unless the standard across the industry improves. So, what are your thoughts on this? Go ahead and share them in the comments below.
Alright, I mean, it just seems like... I don't know. It's I'm not that like tech savvy, I guess. So it's really hard for me to give an opinion about it. But yeah, I do agree that games need to launch in a most stable state. We really need to stand together and stop buying unoptimized games. Yeah, that's what I do agree on. But it's hard to really like tell in the beginning. Like usually you discover those things after you bought the game. Getting 30 FPS on the most powerful hardware on the market, even with awful upscalers like DLSS or FSAR, and developers charging 70 for it is, yeah, the price point is probably the biggest robbery. I think selling us consumers or gamers a game that is not even done, not even finished, unoptimized, that's the biggest robbery ever. I do miss when we had competition between ID and Epic. They made their products better that way. What are Epics like the is that the company behind the engines or something? I miss the days when we could play any game 1080 FPS in mid-range GPU without using any upscaler technology. Yeah, that's true. Frame generation, DLSS and stuff, they really like encourage you to use it, even though you shouldn't have to, right? To get like good performance. These problems are also being amplified by a run of terrible NVIDIA drivers. Okay. Oh man, I don't know if you have. Wait, nah. Actually, that's a pretty long video. I was gonna watch a video that is such a cool video, but the problem is I've already watched it. And it is called this video. The man who broke God of War in half. Have you seen this video, Tylus? If not, we could watch it another time because it's 43 minutes long. It's gonna take a while. But this video is so freaking good. And now that I've played the first God of War game, it could be more interesting even. Like back then when I watched it, nothing really made sense because I didn't play the games myself, but yeah. That's why I avoid Unreal Engine 5 games. If I see that engine, then I'm like, nah, I'm good, homie. Yeah, I don't pay attention to those at all. But yeah, it is true though that we have to, I guess, be more aware of it. Never really a bad thing. Oh man, Code Vein, that is also releasing. No, I did not watch the video. What is it about? It's about like the first really like speedrunner of God of War 1 who really like broke the mechanics before like a lot of YouTube videos were available. It's just such a cool video about the first God of War game. It's basically like the born or the start of like the whole speedrunning strat and glitchless runs. I don't know if you're familiar with speedruns, how they work, like any percent and stuff. But it's basically like a breakdown of like one of the most influential runs of a person. And there's like all kinds of really cool lore. It's a really cool video. I do want to watch it again, but not right now because it is already getting a bit late. I don't know what else. What else? What other videos should we watch? Don't really have anything in mind in particular. Let's see. Why racing games don't hit the same anymore? Huh. What the hell happened to the Infamous series? Yeah, the Infamous series is a PlayStation exclusive, I believe. What videos should we watch, guys? Do we have anything? 20 overhyped games that actually delivered. It's pretty long. We'll just watch it.
With some big AAA game.
This video is by GameRanks. Really good channel as well. I'm not even subscribed to GameRanks. What the hell? It's also hard to fix performance issue on Unreal Engine 5. That's why I don't buy games from Unreal Engine 5. It's not worth it.
Games, it just feels like you
makes
can't
sense. Makes
hide
sense
from hearing about them. You can't escape the hype. Lots of big games.
Okay, so overhyped games that are actually deliver.
Big hype. Every so often, probably more frequently in recent years, hyped up games release, and then it turns out it was really overhyped. The game just didn't deliver.
Sorry,
bro. Starfield was so. It was so underwhelming. Like a big new Bethesda game, supposedly super big. I played it for a bit. I enjoyed it for what it is, I guess, but yeah, it wasn't really like anything too special.
In the last few years, there have also been a lot of games that had a lot of hype behind them and ended up actually delivering. So today, instead of doing a negative video, we take a break and we talk about some good recent games that actually delivered on the hype. We got 20 games to talk about, so let's get started off with number 20. Half-Life Alyx, man. When this game was announced in
Half-Life
November of
Alyx.
2019, it had been
I still need to
only
complete my
12
playthrough
years since the last Half-Life
of this game.
but man, did it feel like longer.
We haven't done a
This game
VR stream in
shocked
a while.
everyone. Not just because it was a new Half-Life game after a long drought, but because it was a VR game. There was a lot of hype and just as much trepidation around this thing. But in the end, Alyx delivered in a big way.
Yeah, this
Not
is like
just
one
a
of the
proper
best
return to
VR
form from
experience
the
that you can
Half-Life
get.
series, but as a true showcase for VR, actually. Like, in many ways, this is still one of the premier VR games. They built everything around showcasing and highlighting the unique features of VR. Not like a gimmick.
The physics in
and
this game
it
is
did spectacular.
pretty dang good.
This is one of those games that was more overhyped post-release than after. Everybody who had a headset was going crazy for it, myself included. But it also is one of those games that I think managed to win over the VR haters too. What Half-Life 2 did for physics models and stuff like that, Half-Life Alyx did for VR innovation. It really is a standout game that even now feels like something from the future. This is a game that's deserved all the accolades it's gotten so far, and then some. They really succeeded here where so many other VR games have failed, and a lot of people, I think, don't realize that we kind of got Half-Life 3, and it's Half-Life Alyx. There's some really interesting story stuff in there.
Yeah, I need to finish this. I need to finish this playthrough of Half-Life Alyx.
Impressive work, Miss Vance.
Gordon Freeman?
Gordon.
Alright, let me continue real quick.
The Silent Hill 2 remake. The original 2001 game, that's like a
Bro,
classic
such a
of the
good
survival
game.
horror genre.
Such
And
a
the
freaking good
diehard
game.
Silent Hill fan base.
If I know a clip for 10 minutes, wanna watch if you have time? Sure, sure. You can send just type the URL in the chat, and I can look it up.
Was always going to be extremely skeptical about any possible remakes. Konami had already screwed up the game
Silent Hill
once
2.
with the Silent Hill HD collection release. You remember that? By the time this new attempt at a remake was announced, Konami had like given up, walked away from making games. And up to this point, their attempts at reviving the Silent Hill brand were not really filling people with a lot of confidence. Even newer stuff in this batch like Silent Hill: The Short Message and Silent Hill Ascension didn't exactly bode well for the future of the franchise. Konami's choice of developer,
Yeah,
had
that's
some people
crazy,
questioning
right?
it too.
If you think about it, if you hear anything about the Silent Hill like series, it's usually Silent Hill 2 because it is the best one, but never it's like the other Silent Hill games, like Silent Hill 1. I guess Silent Hill F, the newest one, saw
Bloober Team
some
had cut their
success.
teeth on horror games, but they had
The
never
other
made
ones are
anything
kinda, like,
close to the
underwhelmed.
necessary size and scale and quality of a proper Silent Hill game. Still, on name recognition alone, there was like still a lot of hype for the Silent Hill 2 remake. Even if fans and insiders
I do
were
want to play this
speculating the
eventually,
project
but since
might
I played
not turn
the
out so
original
good, but
Silent Hill
people's
2
love for Silent Hill
not
2
too long
more than
ago,
anything was
I
just
want to hold
so
off obviously
undeniably
because
strong. And
it's
when the
basically the same game, right?
finally did come out and exceed the expectations of even the most jaded fans, it was a real eye-opening moment.
It's
In
called
hindsight,
Unreal
it's clear
Engine
that
5
this
is
was like a
ruining gaming. It's really
make-or-break
interesting.
moment for Bloober
All right,
developers, and
I'll
this
look it
was
up
a
after this.
remaker's claim, and a
We're
lot
gonna go through this a bit quick.
the frankly absurd
Split
success
Fiction.
of It Takes Two. To date, the game has sold like around 27 million copies.
These
The
games look
next
so
game from
fun
the
to
developers,
play with
Haze
someone
Light,
else.
It had a lot to live up to. The expectations were through
I
the
think
roof
co-op
for this
nowadays
to
is
be good,
really like
but they still managed to
underrated.
top
They should really
themselves
like
with their new
implement it
co-op
more,
adventure.
or
The
not
game,
like
once again, has a kind
co-op,
of
well also
fiddling and
co-op, but also
sometimes
split
awkward
screen
plot,
kind
but
of
the
games.
gameplay is where this
You know
thing
those games where
shines,
that you can
and
just like play
in
on
some
your
key ways,
TV
they actually managed to
with
up
two
their
players.
game with the almost perfectly crafted It Takes Two.
Those games are
They
perfect
managed
for
to
it.
step it up again. The general flow of gameplay is mostly
I really
like,
think
just
there
a
should be
refinement
more
rather than a complete reinvention,
split screen games.
but they
I
just
I
keep
love
coming
split
up
screen
with
game
new
or
and
split screen
creative
back in the
game
day.
mechanics.
I used to play the
Constantly
Halo
refresh
campaign in split
themselves
screen.
before
It
anything
was so
starts to
much
drag
fun.
on for too long. It's
So
so crazy
goddamn
that, like,
fun.
a co-op game like this. These guys
Split Fiction, yeah, I've heard about it. The first game was also pretty successful. Wasn't it like called It
Number
Takes Two?
17, Batman Arkham Shadow. The developer Camouflage, they had their work
Batman
cut out for
Arkham
them.
Shadow. This is
The
another
expectation
VR
was
game, right?
Nothing less than creating the Half-Life Alyx of Batman games. So basically, they needed to make a game that stood toe-to-toe with what is considered by many the best VR game ever made, and also
Really?
the Batman Arkham series, which are some of the best
Better than
modern
Alyx?
Batman things ever. So no pressure, guys. It was an idea that should not have worked. I mean, even Rocksteady didn't knock it out of the park when they made a Batman VR game. Within VR circles, there was a lot of excitement and some impossibly high
I
expectations.
mean, it looks
for
not
Arkham
bad,
Shadow,
but it
given
does
the
look a
developer
bit
pedigree
more
and also
like
that it
rough
takes
than
place in succeed
Half-Life
slotting in
Alyx.
It was hard not to be hyped up about this one, but as usual,
Resident
with
Evil
Capcom's
Village.
recent output for the series,
Wow.
it was excellent.
I'm not really a fan of VR games. I think VR is pretty cool, but it really depends on what kind of VR you play indeed. For example, VR horror games are pretty dang scary. I've played them on the channel. And a game like Half-Life Alyx, which is one of the best VR gaming experiences.
It cannot be
Those could be
understated
fun.
just how excited everyone was for this game. It was nuts. There was a lot of excitement behind it and a whole lot of expectations too. What's wild is how little we actually knew going in. There was promise of
Resident Evil
werewolves and
Village.
big lady.
I want to do a Resident Evil playthrough. I definitely want to do it. Now that I'm more, dipping my toes into the horror genre. Resident Evil, one of the most iconic horror franchises, right?
Vampires, maybe Chris
Oh,
Redfield, but
baby,
the rest of the
boy.
game was a total mystery. So when we all actually
Lady
got the chance to play the
Dimitrescu
thing and
or
found out
something.
it was like a spiritual successor to Resident Evil 4 kind of in first person, I can't speak for everyone, but it was a pretty cool thing to find out, and it had some incredibly memorable moments throughout. This is really the game that I think solidified and made it crystal clear that no matter what weird direction Capcom wanted to take the series, we can come in mostly blind and still expect them to deliver something really cool and interesting after.
Okay, cool. I don't want to see too much spoilers of Resident Evil
Many
8.
flash in the pan multiplayer games.
Arc Raiders,
Many
bro.
of them
This
get hyped
game,
to the moon.
I'm not even gonna lie. I thought it was a fun game. I played it for a bit, but I'm just not really the biggest fan of extraction shooters. But this game has been taken over.
But after a few weeks, they
Like
kind of wither
crazy.
away and die. It's enough to make a guy really cynical about any new online shooters, especially in 2025 when
This
even
game has seen
good
some
games
really
like
big
Battlefield
success.
6 can still find ways to disappoint you, like with that game's weird Firestorm mode. Look, Arc Raiders was a game with a lot of hype behind it after release, but the difference was that it wasn't all just manufactured hype. The game was legit, and because of that, instead of quickly losing players like most of these games,
Yeah,
tend
that's
to
the
do
thing. The
post-release,
game just felt
it
good.
actually grew after the game's
The game
initial
felt
launch.
really good.
What could have been yet another failed extraction shooter actually managed to find an audience who stuck around, mostly because the game was just that good at its core. It's just a fun game that
Yeah, that's the weird thing about Arc Raiders. It doesn't, in my opinion, or at least correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't really played it that much, but it doesn't really do anything in particular very special. But it does everything that an extraction shooter has just right or something.
encourages
I don't know.
really
We don't have to worry about Resident Evil 9 performance because they use their own engine. That's a W. That is a big W.
interesting player cooperation in some clever ways, like making sure aggressive players get queued together with more friendly types. The game actually adjusts your queue depending on your playstyle. It's like a slightly kinder and gentler sort of extraction shooter, which makes it far more casual friendly compared to the other nearly impenetrably difficult games on the genre. It's also not free to play, and I think that helps the game a lot too. Look, still to this day, it's a game that has a whole lot of hype. It got a whole lot of hype, but in this case, it actually just earned it the old-fashioned way.
And from what I've seen from Arc Raiders as well, you can't really get any overly over the top stupid fancy looking skins or anything. So yeah, Arc Raiders is just a good game overall. Let's hope I can run that game in ultra setting with RT on. Hell yeah. Let's hope and pray that your PC is not gonna
Next
take
at
off.
number 14, Elden Ring and the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. I mean, Elden Ring, it's an open world Dark Souls. Of course, the hype behind this one was impossibly
Definitely.
high. It's got hype from
Bro,
the
one of the
hardcore
best
Soulsborne
games
audience
ever,
and the generally more
ever
casual open world
to be
game
made.
enjoyers. Released at the perfect time when excitement around
This
Souls
game
games
brought in so many new players, so many players that has never played a Souls-like game before, a Dark Souls game, weren't even familiar with them. just the popularity of this game is freaking crazy.
Was like at an all-time high.
It's
There was always
insane.
a chance that they'd screw it up. I mean,
It's literally one of the it's an actual fact that this is one of the best games ever made.
Was their first fully open world game after all, but we all know how it actually turned out. The game is a glorious expansion of that studio's usual formula, and it just works incredibly well. Some old school fans might have some issues with some of the changes they made to the usual style of these games to work in an open world structure, but overall, the game was like a masterclass in gameplay, game design, and showed that the mystery and the joy of exploration in their usual games could be used for a game that's much bigger in every way, but still manages to feel interconnected and
You can sink in so many
story to
hours
boot
in this game.
with what
It's
you could figure out on
insane.
your own. And of
And
course, it was a
you can put
difficult
like hundreds, and I'm talking like hundreds of hours into it, and still have not like fully explored every single part of the map or defeated
and it only got
every
even
single
harder
boss.
with the game's big old DLC, Shadow of the
Yeah, the
Urge.
DLC was
That's
also
where the
very
hype
good.
was, man. Fans like already had extremely high expectations for From Software DLC, but nobody could have guessed just how huge this new add-on was really going to be. It is massive. Practically a mini sequel rather than like a little slice of DLC content. And while the map may feel a little empty at times, everything else is so good. The bosses, everything, it barely matters. Elden Ring and its DLC is just awesome. That's not like a
Yeah.
hot take. I'm pretty sure you probably know that.
Yep. Straight up effect. Millennium. I'm not interested in Arc Raiders because it also uses Unreal Engine 5. I think a lot of games in the future are gonna use Unreal Engine 5 though, but I'm not really too sure.
Seriously,
Okay.
Nintendo was working years.
What's this?
Would be
Metroid
a total
Dread?
mess when it finally came out. Seriously, okay, so real
Not really too interested in Metroid
license.
games.
There's always a lot of excitement and expectations.
The
around
Walking
these games,
Dead,
but
Saints and Sinners,
the good
the
one.
VR game. What else do we
But
have?
even with the legendary
Donkey Kong
entertainment
Bonanza.
planning
Whenever I'm gonna get my Switch 2, I will probably buy this game
and
as well.
development group working
It looks
on
like
the
a fun game.
which are the same guys who actually worked on Mario Odyssey.
Yep.
Still, nobody knew quite what to expect here. Good things were expected, but I don't think anyone could have just guessed like how unconventional and creative and boundary.
Let's hope not.
pushing this game
Let's
would
hope
end up
not a
being.
nightmare.
At its heart,
Let's hope not.
it's
That's a
traditional
nightmare.
platformer, but everything else about this game is so unique. It challenges a lot of the usual expectations for a game like this, with its free-form destruction and digging mechanics. It just gives players a lot more freedom than these
It's
sorts
so
of games
colorful.
usually do.
Look
In
at how
many ways,
bright
the
and
game
colorful
is
the
them
game is.
taking their ideas from Odyssey and pushing them even further to really impressive results.
Dang. And I just noticed I can play this on stream as well. That's so cool. The capture card, bro, this thing is actually putting in work. This thing, guys, I'm telling you. A freaking $25 capture card, or maybe even cheaper. I don't even remember the price. I am locked to 1080p 60 FPS. I can do 4040p, like 2K, but that'll leave me with 30 FPS, and I'm not gonna play on 30 FPS, or stream for that matter.
Anticipated game, there's going to be a lot
Black
of
Myth
excitement alongside a lot of
Wukong.
skepticism. The studio behind Black Myth, Game Science, they had never really made a game even close to the scale of this one. Trailers promised a massive game with like a frankly absurd amount of bosses, with over the
I really feel like, this could be a hot take, I really feel like Black Myth Wukong kind of set the bar of how much of a good game Chinese companies or game studios can make. I feel like obviously it's probably not true, but like a lot of good Chinese games have come out after Black Myth Wukong. Like for example, Where Winds Meet, right? Popular games. Wait, hold on. Popular good games made by Chinese game studios. So just to name a few, Genshin Impact was pretty early. We got Black Myth Wukong, we got Where Winds Meet, Naraka Blade Point, I've heard about that, Honkai Star Rail. Okay, most of them are gacha from what I believe. But wait, oh, PUBG was also made by, oh no wait, hold on. That's the mobile version by Tencent. Okay, maybe it wasn't that big, but yeah. Elden Ring used Dandelion engine. They also use their own engine. Really? Oh, dang. I didn't know. Just got back from finishing some Blackburn. Oh, no, Runic. Oh, God. Were you still able to eat it? Or did you make something else?
The top graphics. Excitement was high, but there were plenty of voices saying that there.
Wait, how do you cook your... The stand that is like finished, right? The keep warm stand. Black Myth Wukong and Witcher 4 are interesting games, but I'm not a fan of the engine. It will break my PC. Oh man. The curry saved it. Yup. Basically some curry with some burnt rice. Amazing combo.
No way these guys could possibly execute on the promises here. There's no way that a small team could pull this off, right? There's no way a game could actually look this good, right? Still, that is hype in a way. If a game feels like it looks too good to be true, but then it actually
Bro, you gotta try this with Tylos though. This game is so goddamn good. Well, you did say that you weren't a fan of like those difficult games, so
on all its promises with a game
it is a
that
hard game.
Played well, looked incredible, and was way longer than most people assumed. With so many games coming out of China, like by relatively unknown studios that end up being kind of middling, Wukong managed to beat the odds and surprise us all. It's a great game, but thankfully doesn't lean quite so heavily on the Souls formula like a lot of people initially thought. It's more of a straight up action game with a lot of interesting mechanics.
That's true though.
It's one of the
it's
few
not a
really different feeling action games.
It is a different feeling Souls-like,
all that really
sort
matters
of.
is that the game is good. The amount of boss fights might actually be a little too.
What's this? Buddha's Gate? Hell nah. Buddha's Gate. This is Black Myth Wukong, Runic. Haven't you heard about Black Myth Wukong? I'm sure you did.
Dense.
It almost won Game of the Year. In my opinion, it should have won Game of the Year. But obviously that's because I'm a bit advocate of this game.
But like it's a pretty minor complaint when everything
I
about
thought I
Wukong
enjoyed it
is
so
far
much.
better.
I think it was even my favorite game that came out in 2023, I would say.
Than it has any right to be. And now they just got us looking forward to their next
Bro, this boss was so goddamn difficult.
game. So
I had so
mission
much trouble with this. No? Have you never heard of Black Myth Wukong? Hold on. That's pretty crazy. That game is like super popular. It just Black Myth Wukong. It came out in when was it? Wait, what? Oh, it released 2 years ago. My bad. In 2024. It was even like Game of the Year contender, but Astrobot took it over it. Yeah, I was kind of salty about that. I was kind of mad about that. This game is good though. If you are into like Souls-like hack and slash RPG action games. Very good. Yellow Loom. This boss was freaking difficult though. I got my ass kicked on this boss. Next,
after the massive and
Kingdom Come
somewhat
Deliverance
unexpected success of the first game, because it managed to sell like over 10 million units by 2025, the hype for the sequel was huge. People love the first.
This game is
despite its
supposedly
flaws.
really
The
good.
original game.
I played a tiny bit of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. I never finished it. I never really got far into it because it is a pretty like super realistic and medieval kind of like simulator-ish.
May have looked amazing for a
But the
Kickstarter
second game
project
apparently
and
is
was
really good.
doing something legitimately different with its more grounded take on an open world RPG. But it was, and still is, kind of buggy, weird, hard to get into. So while we were all excited for the next one, there was some concern that it could launch in an even worse state than the first. That did not happen, and instead we got one
Okay,
of
we
the
gotta go
best, most
a bit more
self-assured
quick to these if you want to still watch the video of Tylus. You can spoil Black Myth Wukong. I will not buy the game. I don't want to hurt my new gaming PC. That is
being able to take
unfortunate.
a lot of
Tylus.
fun, more to do. It's just a win-win. Now at number 8, Alan Wake 2. Now, whoever
Alan Wake 2! No, we don't want to get any spoilers. I am definitely going to play this game this year. Alan Wake 2, I'm going to play this game this year. Definitely. I don't want any spoilers though. I'm sorry. I'm going to skip over that. That game is supposedly really good.
Now at number 7, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. By the time Cyberpunk DLC got properly announced here at the Game Awards,
ever since the DLC has been released,
people were ready and willing.
I've only
to
been
change
hearing
their
good things
opinion
about this
the game. I mean, steady updates from CD Projekt Red had improved the game's reputation after its original busted, disastrous launch. But the DLC was really where the game...
I got this game back when it released for PS4 even. I don't think the PS5 wasn't out yet. I'm gonna say. I'm not entirely sure. I bought this game on PS4. Bro, it was unplayable. I was like running at freaking 5 FPS. I was constantly clipping through the floor. And it was just unplayable. It was horrible. It was actually horrible. Oh wait, did it release on PS4 or PS5 first? Cyberpunk PS4? Or was it did it start it on the PS5? Yeah, I think it was a PS4 game. Yeah, definitely. I bought this game on the PS4 back when it came out. Bro, this was actually probably one of my worst release games that I played on release ever.
Trying to fully redeem the game in the eyes of the public. After great expansions, stuff like Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine from Witcher 3, expectations were extremely high and all eyes were on this thing because while there was a lot of positivity about the DLC going in, there was still a little blood in the water over the handling of the main game. If Phantom Liberty were anything short of excellent, then people were more than ready to turn on Cyberpunk again. And the way the hype built for this thing just made the stakes even higher. People were excited, but it had big shoes to fill. And again, if CD Projekt Red can do anything, they can definitely do DLC.
This world
Phantom
looks
Liberty
so
is a
goddamn
really
cool.
damn
I
good
definitely
one.
want to get
Shadow
this
of the
game
Erd
again.
Tree that we talked about before, it practically
I don't know
feels
how
like
I
a sequel
feel
to
about
its own
doing a
game,
whole
with like
playthrough of it.
story with plenty of twists and turns and intrigue, but also just a lot of really good fun gameplay and side missions. It's a roller coaster ride full of cool set pieces, memorable story moments. For some people, it's even better than the base game and well worth the hype. They actually managed to pull it off, and all it took was a huge DLC and a big old patch that completely overhauled the game. Now at number 6, Hollow Knight Silksong.
Hollow Knight Silksong. Oh man, what a game. Cyberpunk 2077 used their own engine and it's also bad optimized. It's called the Red Engine 4. That's also bad. Ah, dang, yeah. I experienced it firsthand when it came out.
The hype around
I haven't played it ever since
follow
though.
up to the OG Hollow Knight was
The game just left that big of a
this
scar.
hyped, this anticipated.
What the hell? Why was it so short?
Hollow recent memory that was insane, man. Like other than GTA 6, there's nothing else in recent memory that was this hyped, this anticipated, and this talked about.
Silksong, the most wishlisted game on Steam. It literally, this game was this game was so popular, it even broke the whole store page. I still remember on release day, I was trying to buy it. I couldn't buy it for like at least 4 hours after its release. The whole freaking checkout page was just flooded. It just crashed the whole Steam.
A big part of it was like the memes and general fervor around the game's impending release date. For years, fans just kind of waited in bating breath for like any shred of information from Team Cherry. And for years and years, all they got was radio silence. The lack of updates combined with the crazy hype for this game led the fan base down to some strange places. People were legitimately losing their minds over this game not showing up at Nintendo Direct announcements or PlayStation State of Plays. It was a constant topic wherever video game trailers were getting shown, and the hype only snowballed from there. It helped build it even more. Expectations for the game were at like impossible levels when it finally released on September 4th of 2025, and at least at first, it seems like people weren't
September
sure what to make of
4th,
it.
2025.
Most acknowledged that the game was good.
What a day.
But it seems like it took a few months for the game's quality to really settle in with people. And now it is generally accepted that the game was incredible. It just took a second to get there. Like the impossible weight of expectations were so heavy on the game that it was hard to even evaluate it properly. The game was actually far more different than anyone expected too. More nimble and a hell of a lot more challenging than the original game. It wasn't what we
I don't know if I agree with that though. Like some parts were hard. Well, definitely the later game. Act 3 was difficult. Act 3 was really difficult in Silksong. The base game in Hollow Knight was alright. Some parts were annoying. Well, I guess they do kind of, I do kind of agree, because the late game of Silksong was considerably harder than the base game. But obviously, I'm now stuck in the first Hollow Knight at God Home, which is
expected,
another
but
whole
the end
level.
result is actually better than we could have even hoped for. Now at number 5, Baldur's Gate 3.
Not only Unreal Engine 5 is bad, sometimes different engines can also be bad. We need more good optimized games. Care too much about graphics. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. As that other comment on the YouTube video said, we need to spend more. We need to, you know, boycott, or not boycott, but kind of like stand up against developers for one, pricing their games super high and also releasing, while at the same time releasing unoptimized games.
Another game with the almost unbearable
Baldur's
weight of
Gate 3
expectations attached to it. It's Larian, the people behind the well-liked Divinity Original Sin 2, working on a new Baldur's Gate game. Even if you haven't played the original BioWare CRPGs, you know that they're big games. They were a big deal, and they have a lot of expectations attached to them.
I know it's Game of the Year, and it's like one of the
modestly.
super like good, super good game.
Do it. These
I just don't like the gameplay loop of it though. It really doesn't interest me at all. And I know a lot of people will say, just try it out, maybe you'll like it. Maybe, but I don't know. It doesn't look interesting at all. I don't like these type of games. I don't even know how to explain them.
Types of games are usually thought of as pretty niche compared to the more popular modern games with limited appeal. Larian could have accepted that generally agreed upon idea that
maybe I
CRPGs
should just give it a
don't
try
have to
once.
be that big and huge, but they didn't. Instead, they ramped up and bet big on the game being a success, and that bet paid off in dividends. The cutting-edge graphics are what really got people in the door, but the fantastic freeform gameplay is what keeps people playing. That and great characters. It's a game that people only got more hype for after it came out, simply just because of how good it is. Next at number 4, Ghost of Tsushima. The game looked great from the
Ghost of
first
Tsushima.
trailer that came out. And if
Ghost of Tsushima is so freaking good. One of my favorite games. This game was, I'm a big fan. I've already mentioned it a couple of times. I'm a big fan of samurai, ninja, shinobi, all kinds of like those type of like styles, and like Asian culture, Japan, feudal Japan and whatnot.
If you're a fan of
Huge fan, and this game is just, in my opinion, the best in the category. I feel like, or one of the best
games. You might
it's
think
one
it
of
was
my
weird that they
favorite
were going
games.
for a historical Japan setting. Definitely a big shift from their infamous
The
games. but if
atmosphere
you
and the
knew
whole
their
world
infamous games,
is
if you played those
amazing.
games, then you were probably pretty excited for
It's
this.
so
because
amazing.
looked
It looks so
ambitious.
good
The
as well.
trailers were cool as hell. The game was great. It had a great open world that wasn't bloated or too tedious to explore, and a combat system that was just
combat was
really
so
cool.
goddamn
way better
good.
than we were used to at the time. The game's commitment to being immersive is one of its best elements too.
Yep,
You know,
yep.
the blowing wind that guides you instead
It's
of a
so
map
freaking
marker to your
good.
next objective.
I can't praise this
The game's
game
general
enough.
lack of too much HUD or on-screen information just really let you soak in the beautiful atmosphere.
It's so clean as well. Like the upgrades and the whole menu, as exactly as how this guy described it. The menus don't feel bloated. Like I always hate it, or not really hate it. I kind of get like overwhelmed when you play a game, and the game just let's just say you play for a bit and the game introduces a new mechanic or whatnot, or abilities, or a tree, a skill tree. And literally 5 seconds after that, they introduce another one and another one and another one. And it just gets stacked up onto each other. And I know a lot of people like it, like, very complex, like design or character creation, build, progression, whatever type of stuff. Me personally, I always get like overwhelmed. I really need to take time to learn everything. If there's like a lot of things, mechanics, and stuff to learn in a game. So that's why I can appreciate it when there's like a more simpler skill tree path mechanic in a game
of Japan.
that I can just casually understand, I guess.
It's a heightened version of the island that doesn't quite match reality, both in geographic details and the real world history that they're drawing from to tell the game. It's not super accurate, but like it doesn't really
This game
matter
is so
either way
goddamn
when
good.
the game is just this.
I need to do another playthrough
Now
of
at number
this.
3, the Demon really done something quite as ambitious.
Demon
This game-
Souls. Now that we have a PlayStation available, I can finally run Bloodborne and get the Demon Souls remake. And then I basically have all the most up-to-date versions of the Souls-like games. so we can do a whole From Software playthrough. We're gonna play all the From Software games this year.
That Souls fans are
It's gonna be,
always talking
fun.
big on. They always want to tell you that their favorite Souls is the original Demon Souls. Still porting over and like, you know, rebuilding a game from PlayStation 3
They haven't
from the
released this
ground up,
for
for
PC.
next generation
The Demon
console
Souls.
was really ambitious and kind of scary. There was a lot of potential, but Bluepoint has made some great games. There was a lot of hype around this one. It was a PlayStation 5 launch title after all. And while you can quibble with the choices Bluepoint made when adapting the game here and there, you've got to admit that the game looks incredible. It's still, even a few years after its initial release, one of the best looking games. It's astonishing just how good this game looks at times while having a consistent frame rate. Many of the gameplay improvements are also very welcome. They're small, but remove some of the
Demon Souls
stiffness that
remake
was
is
in
fine,
the
but it's not as good as
and
Dark
other than
Souls.
a few
Really? You think so?
enhancements here and there and the graphical
I've never
overhaul, the game is
really.
otherwise
Well, I
accurate
did
and
play, but it's
faithful
so long
to the
ago.
Demon Souls
I
experience,
played the
which
original
remains
even.
pretty unique to this day. A whole new generation of people got to discover what the hype really was with Demon Souls, and I think the hype was completely
It's been so long since I played Demon Souls. I vaguely remember everything.
warranted here.
It's the same with Bloodborne. Those games are probably the games that I haven't played for the longest. So yeah. Yeah, I finished Demon Souls Remake on my PS5. The game is just fine. I see. That's cool.
Tier game mechanic actually lives up to
Tears of the Kingdom.
all the lofty
Bro, another game I still need to finish.
promises Nintendo
I literally the only thing I did in this game was escape the tutorial island.
made before
And that's
release.
just it.
This thing still feels like video game magic. There's nothing else really quite like
But I want to
it.
play this
The
again
way
on
you
my
can
Switch
combine
whenever I get a
various
Switch
objects
too.
together to create machines for fighting enemies, traversing the environment, or just break until they had
Okay, last video and then we'll watch
25 is the
quickly the
breakout
video that
RPG
you
for the series. It's got a great
recommended.
soundtrack. And
This is Persona
satisfyingly
5.
so. Just change a few
This
things
game
up
does
and,
look
you know,
interesting.
offer like a remixed experience.
I've heard it's
to the
like
OG
it's like
game.
a super long game, a super
Adds an entire
long RPG. Okay, what was it called again? Hold on, let me. It's called Unreal Engine 5. Oops, Unreal Engine 5 is ruining gaming. Unreal Engine. Which one though, Silas? I've also finished Dark Souls 2, but it was on Steam, and Dark Souls 2 is the best Dark Souls game. I love that game so much. They really need to remake it. I agree. They need to do like a whole full-blown remake. I mean, I'd rather have them like release new games. But yeah, I do agree. Which one do I watch, Silas? 1054. This one. Unreal Engine is ruining gaming.
Everyone seems
Okay.
to
We can watch
love
this.
Unreal Engine 5. Gamers are constantly obsessing over the graphics showcases and begging studios to switch to the engine. Publishers love it because using it helps market their games and allows them to outsource their game development, and developers love it because it's often easier to learn than some studios' proprietary engines. With few competitors on the market that can achieve this level of graphical fidelity and technically
does look
impressive
pretty
capabilities,
dang impressive.
while also still being very
But yeah,
accessible,
obviously it's more
it makes
demanding.
sense why Unreal Engine is so popular. But is the obsession with Unreal Engine 5 actually ruining the gaming industry? Recently, we've seen several major studios announce their switch to Unreal Engine 5 for the future of their games. We have CD Projekt Red ditching their in-house Red engine in favor of Unreal, which based on visuals
Dang.
alone seems like an odd choice, as the Red engine is at times even more graphically impressive than
So
Unreal Engine.
Cyberpunk
Microsoft has rebranded 343
Cyberpunk was still made on the Red engine, right? And now they're switching over to Unreal Engine 5 for The Witcher
Industries
4.
into Halo Studios,
Interesting
who will
choice.
now use UE5 to produce their future Halo games, and they will retire their proprietary engine that they spent years building specifically for Halo Infinite. BioWare is moving from Frostbite to Unreal, which is probably for the best, as Frostbite is not great for third-person action RPGs. But BioWare has more important game development problems to solve at this point. Who knows if they'll even live long enough to launch Mass Effect 5. Crystal Dynamics dropped their own engine,
Hey,
and the
we
next
got
Tomb
Tomb
Raider
Raider.
game will be developed on Unreal. And GCS Game World have also dropped their
Oh,
own
dang,
engine
the new
to
Tomb
swap
Raider
over
game as well.
UE5 for Stalker 2. which is a bit concerning because their AI and NPCs used a very specific type of technology from their own engine that allowed them to create some pretty unique behavior patterns that were a staple of the series in the past. The list goes on and on. So many studios are now developing on the Unreal
Yo, which
Engine.
game is this?
Now that in itself isn't necessarily a bad thing on the surface,
Whoa, hold
but
on.
there are
That game
several
looks
major
sick.
concerns I and many others have.
Which game is
This
that?
engine change comes with a lot of pros, but also potentially many cons. First, Epic Games essentially has a monopoly on the game engine market now. With each studio that switches over to Unreal, they will get a slice of the revenue on each
Wow,
game sales.
that's smart.
Then they get to be the arbiters.
So they are basically like the almost like the inventor of or like the maker, I guess, or like a big stakeholder in Unreal Engine 5. That's smart. It's basically like the future engine and Unreal Engine 5, and they get a percentage of it.
Of controlling what type of games
they really
you
get the
made
bag.
with the engine. Several months ago, we saw some pretty concerning censorship from Epic in regards to things your game can or cannot include, such as using words like blacklist and whitelist, slave, master, or nuke, or using gendered language like having dialogue that uses the phrase poor man's ex, or saying something like, hey guys. And I guess banning gendered language means that 50% of the world languages are suddenly unable to code in the Unreal Engine.
Wow.
And God only knows how far Epic will be willing to take this kind of censorship, and if developers do anything they disagree with, they could take their license away from the engine. That's
What?
concern number one.
That is really
Next
concerning.
is the homogenization of game development. Now, Unreal Engine allows for a vast array of different games capable of wildly different art styles. You've got games like Sea of Thieves made with Unreal that have a very cartoony stylized aesthetic that still manages to be incredibly beautiful graphically. Then you've got games like Atomic Heart or Immortals of Avium that look like generic asset flips, even if they aren't actually asset flips. I know I can't be the only one that's noticed a large number of games made with the Unreal Engine tend to have the generic Unreal Engine look about them, if you know what I mean. Games that look like tech demos, employing the same boring visual style and art style, trying to achieve photorealism in the laziest way possible because the Unreal Engine has
The
great
new Tomb Raider
visuals
game will
by
also use
default,
Unreal Engine 5.
and there's
We're
often
cooked.
little effort to try and bring
Oh
any
boy,
true
we are cooked.
artistic vision to the game beyond that. And I really want to emphasize that point. The generic Unreal Engine look isn't because the program is being restrictive or putting up artistic
Wait, which game is
guardrails,
that? With
as
Robin?
evidenced by the many distinct games with
Gotham
entirely
Knights,
unique
right?
visuals
The game
that
is
have been
Gotham
made on
Knights.
Unreal. Again, games like Sea of Thieves, Octopath Traveler, Borderlands, Little Nightmares. Unreal Engine was even used for developing Yoshi's Crafted World.
Really?
Rather, most of the reason we get these generic-looking Unreal Engine games is because of lazy or passionless people who see the surface-level potential of the engine and don't actually care to make something unique with the tools they have. They just want to make everything look as photorealistic as possible and
Wow.
spend far too much time
That's exactly
trying
what
to
you said,
achieve the
Tylus.
highest polygon counts
They don't care about
imaginable,
optimization.
and things like cloth physics for some reason. Again, stuff you'd likely see from tech demos, not proper games. Unreal
Yup.
Engine is capable of doing so much more than we often see from it, but because there is this obsession with graphics and realism, we just aren't getting more.
Man, I need to play some racing games again. The last racing game I played was Need for Speed Unbound. I had so much fun with racing games. Sometimes playing racing games late at night, just bumping some music. It's just
than the
nice.
very
It's
surface level
very
visual
cool.
style. And because a large number of AAA developers only understand the engine at this basic level, many modern game devs fail to fully understand things like shaders, lighting, and post-processing. They struggle with optimizing these kinds of things, which is why so many Unreal Engine games often
Ooh,
look
we got
and run
Jedi.
like garbage, despite initially looking very pretty in the marketing. That's why I'm
Fallen
convinced
Order?
for most development studios, moving to Unreal Engine won't solve anything. I'm convinced the main reason why so many studios are moving to Unreal Engine is not because it's so much better than their own proprietary engines, but because of these two things.
Cheap.
1. Publishers and development studios can outsource a lot of the work to contracted employees, oftentimes ones that are in other countries where they can get away with paying for cheap labor. We've heard many different stories over the last several years of the disastrous yet profitable strategy to outsource huge chunks of development, and moving to Unreal Engine will make that process much easier for these studios. And secondly,
actually not even a
because
good
of this
thing.
obsession gamers have with photorealistic graphics right now, Unreal Engine 5 is one of the easiest marketing tools. The average normie consumer thinks that moving to the Unreal Engine will magically fix whatever problem.
That's one thing, right? We gotta stop as a gamer care about graphics so much. We gotta look at the more the most important thing, which is functionality, optimization of a game.
Their favorite franchise has. But of
The
course,
graphics can
the
come
game
afterwards.
engine alone can't make a game good.
I call it
still
lazy.
takes
They don't
tons
care
of
about
effort from
optimize. They
talented
just,
individuals who know how to make a captivating art style, handcrafted and distinct animations, proper optimization skills, and general good game design knowledge. And it worries me that studios and consumers alike both think that somehow Unreal Engine is going to solve everything. Now, I'm not opposed to any of these studios making the switch to Unreal, I just want that to actually mean something. It could be a huge benefit if the developers still put in the effort needed to make their game go beyond the surface of the engine, and it will be likely easier to onboard new developers, outsource work, and transform the thousands of assets from the store to help with development. There's no problem with that if they aren't solely reliant on those things. I'm just not confident that the move to Unreal is being done because studios want to put in more effort to their games. I think it's the exact opposite. Now let's get back to the topic of graphics, because most of the time I can't think of anything less important to game development for me than pushing photorealism to its limits.
Yep.
There are exceptions to this, of course. Games like Battlefield 1 greatly benefited from the use of photorealistic graphics and helped with the immersion
Battlefield
of the
looks
game.
so good.
Everyone that's played that game
It looks
knows how
so
incredibly
goddamn good.
intense and real it feels while taking part in the battles in that game. But a game like Battlefield 1 was developed that way from the beginning based on comments from lead developers of DICE at the time. From the outset, the vision for Battlefield 1 was to make an incredibly immersive and realistic recreation of an alternate World War I setting. And the Frostbite engine excels in trying to achieve these goals. When backed by creative vision, realistic graphics can enhance a game's experience. But do all games need ultra realism to enhance them? Some of the most immersive games I've ever played utilize very cartoonish or Pixar-esque graphics and art styles. And sometimes it is these photorealistic games. But when every game starts to look photorealistic, won't everything just kind of feel the same? And we'll lose a lot of distinctness in our video games? Let me put it this way. Would Pixar benefit if instead of having that cartoony charm, switch to live action? Would that be beneficial? Or would it lose its appeal pretty quickly? A lot of older games stand out artistically because of different visual styles and often the feel of a game's engine. Think of From Software games. They have an extremely distinct and tight feeling to the combat and benefits greatly from an engine that prioritizes the art direction over graphical fidelity. Not one single Unreal Engine Souls-like feels half as good as From Software's combat systems. And I think a lot of that is owed to the feeling that Unreal Engine has a lot of jank inherently inside its coding that prevents a lot of these Souls-likes from feeling as smooth as even Dark Souls 1. It's the reason why so many From Software fans have trouble playing any other Souls-likes. None of them feel as good or smooth. And I'm not a developer, but I think most of you know what I'm talking about when it comes to the janky feel of most Unreal Engine games. FPS games made in Unreal often, not all, but often feel pretty janky as well.
Yeah, FPS games is probably, for me at least, the games where I notice it the most. I'm just a huge, I'm so used to Call of Duty and the feel of Call of Duty that if I play any other, FPS game, it just feels so sluggish, janky. I had the same thing with Battlefield, but I've noticed in recent years, Battlefield actually became, a bit more, the way it feels, very similar to COD. Very, smooth and precise in how it feels. But other FPS games, a lot of the times I just, they feel very sluggish to me. I care more about fun. If the game looks good but it's boring, then I just don't play it. We play video games for fun, not for graphics. We are not watching a movie.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Facts.
COD 4's maps have a very distinctive look, and most importantly,
Call of Duty
feel
4
of the game's engine.
Goated game.
17 years later,
Goated game.
This FPS gameplay
AK-74
still
to you.
holds up as more smooth than most modern FPS games made with Unreal. Going back to the Stalker games. With the switch to Unreal, they've lost their proprietary AI system that was so revolutionary. AI in this game doesn't just act like any typical FPS AI. They will flank you, suppress you, try to flush you out with grenades.
I don't want to play these
every
Stalker
path that
games.
you could possibly take that would allow you to regain safety. Hell, they can even hear you reload your gun and push that advantage they have. Could GSC Game World recreate this AI inside the Unreal Engine? Sure.
That is actually cool.
Can they, or will they? Does Unreal make trying to recreate this sort of AI harder to accomplish? Who knows? Maybe it's possible, but without being the ones behind the tech of the engine itself, developers might lose out on specific tech that made their franchise stand out. And my fear is that many of these games will start to feel the exact same as developers stick to the basics of the engine. And lastly, has the improvement to graphics over the last 10 years been that dramatic? If you take a look at games released 10 years ago, many of them could easily be mistaken for a recently
Assassin's
released
Creed?
game. The examples are nearly endless. Is it worth the extra development time to improve the polygon counts of every texture by a factor of 10 when games already looked this good 10 years ago? Who is this actually appealing to? But maybe I'll make a video dedicated to the idea that video game graphics have peaked many years ago and have plateaued to the point of being almost negligible. But that's all for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
Cool video. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like Unreal Engine 5 is just gonna be like the standard for video game companies because it is easy to use. You can hire more workers that are familiar with the engine or paid contract workers. And yeah, building your own engine, I guess, can take first of all a lot of time and also can be very expensive. So yeah, in order to save some money, I guess Unreal Engine 5 is for a lot of companies, unfortunately, the way to go. Which, you know, Unreal Engine isn't necessarily a bad thing, I would say, but the state that it is in now and how demanding it kind of ruins it, I guess. Thank COD 4 is awesome. I love that game. COD 4 is goated. Thank God Call of Duty don't use Unreal Engine 5. We still have hope. We still have hope. Well, after BO7 though, I'm not really sure. All right, guys, it was a fun little. I guess it turned into a YouTube stream. Watched a lot of videos, and yeah, that was fun. That was fun. We are definitely gonna be back with some gaming later on this week. I think tomorrow I'm able to play or able to do a stream again, and Thursday I'm not able to stream, unfortunately. But then Friday and over the weekend, we'll be back. We'll be back with some more gaming. Hopefully we can finish up some games. I'm gonna do some more editing in the meantime. Then I've released the new Let's Play part of my first Berserker Kazan playthrough. So if you enjoy Souls-like playthroughs, you can head and go ahead and watch the latest video on the channel. But for now, guys, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Yeah, it was a fun. Yeah, it was fun. I had a fun stream. Glad you had a fun stream, Tylus. Good night, all. Good night, Mickey. Thank you. Thank everybody for stopping by. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, rest of your morning, rest of your evening. And as always, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.